Chapter 1969. Zhao Wenshui glanced at Li Chuiying with some bitterness and replied pitifully, "Dad, I'm only acting like this because I can't stand seeing that this B*TCH wants to divorce me. Listen to her. Listen to what she's saying. Our Zhao family has given her a lot of food for so many years. Now she wants to divorce?" Although Zhao Wenshui didn't like Li Chuiying that much, he didn't want to divorce Li Chuiying. This was because Zhao Wenshui knew that if he divorced Li Chuiying, there would be no one to take care of him. In the future, he wouldn't be able to sit at home with his legs crossed and eat and drink like he was now. In order to have someone to take care of him in the future, he absolutely couldn't agree. Zhao Baoshan rolled his eyes at Zhao Wenshui and almost cried at Zhao Wenshui's stupidity. At this time, he didn't know how to say nice things and coax Li Chuiying to stay, but he knew how to be fierce. Who was he being fierce to? Didn't he know that the more he treated Li Chuiying like this, the more determined Li Chuiying would be to leave? Now, even if he wanted to get involved and persuade Li Chuiying would probably ignore him. Zhao Baoshan sighed in his heart. He didn't know what would happen next. "You bastard, shut up. If you say one more word, I'll really hit you." Only then did Zhao Wenshui shut his mouth. He glanced at Zhao Baoshan and then at Li Chuiying. He wanted to say something, but he could only swallow it back into his stomach. He couldn't say it out loud. Zhao Baoshan looked at Li Chuiying and tried to persuade her gently, "Second daughter-in-law, I know you've been wronged. Can you reconsider? Divorce is not good for the child. I hope we can still be a family." Li Chuiying replied resolutely, "Father, don't say anything. It's useless no matter what you say. Zhao Wenshui and I can't live together anymore, so I want a divorce. If you really care about me, please allow it. I'll definitely be grateful to you in the future. I won't forget where I can be filial to my parents. Even if I'm not old Zhao's daughter-in-law, I'll still treat you as my in-laws." Zhao Baoshan saw the determination on Li Chuiying's face. There was no turning back now. He wanted to make up for it, but Li Chuiying's heart had been hurt so much that it was useless even if he wanted to. Xian Zhurong looked at her second sister-in-law with heartache. Perhaps a divorce was the best choice for Li Chuiying. She hoped that her second sister-in-law would not have to suffer so much. She also hoped that her second sister-in-law would find another man in the future and not someone like Zhao Wenshui. "Father, just agree to it. We're a family. Don't hurt our feelings." Zhao Baoshan's expression became serious. He knew that it was useless to disagree. If his second daughter-in-law went to Li Zheng, she could still divorce him. Therefore, the scandal in the family would spread. It was better to agree now. At least it would save some face for old Zhao and prevent them from being laughed at by the villagers. Since that's the case, we're not fated to be a family. Second daughter-in-law, I won't force you. I'll make the decision now. You and second brother will divorce. Go to Li Zheng's place and ask him to write a divorce agreement. You and second brother just need to put your fingerprints on it. In the future, when you're not in old Zhao's house, take care of yourself." Zhao Baoshan said with a pained expression. Chapter 1970. Zhao Baoshan said gently, All right. Get up. My legs hurt from kneeling on the ground." "Second sister-in-law, get up." Xian Zhozha walked over to Li Chuiying and helped Li Chuiying up from the ground. Li Chuiying got up from the ground, and she suddenly felt a sense of relief that she had never felt before. Perhaps from this moment on, she would be free and would never have to face a man like Zhao Wenshui again. In the future, all she had to do was take good care of herself. There was no need to be sullen or angry. Zhao Wenshui anxiously questioned Zhao Baoshan, "Father, why did you agree to the divorce? Have you become muddle-headed? What will happen to me if we divorce? Who will cook and wash my clothes in the future? I'm a grown man, and I can't do such chores." Zhao Baoshan was angered by Zhao Wenshui and scolded Zhao Wenshui, "You bastard. How dare you say that I'm old and muddle-headed? Weren't you the one who caused this situation today? If it weren't for these bastards, would your wife have proposed to divorce you? Zhao Wenshui felt wronged and said, but father, you can't just agree like that. If you agree to the divorce between you and her, are you saying that you and mother will take care of me in the future? Zhao Baoshan snorted coldly and scolded, you bastard, what nonsense are you spouting? You're already an adult, and you still have the nerve to ask your mother and me to take care of you? Do you think that you can't divorce just because I don't agree? If the village chief decides, aren't you afraid that you'll embarrass yourself and be too ashamed to stay in the village? Upon hearing Zhao Baoshan's words, Zhao Wenshui's face suddenly fell, and his heart was filled with anxiety. Father, do I really want a divorce? Zhao Baoshan glared at Zhao Wenshui and said, why are you asking me whether we're going to divorce or not? Don't you know to ask your wife? If you had a little bit of conscience and said a few soft words, would this have happened? At the thought of the divorce, Zhao Wenshui immediately flinched and was very worried. He had already lived a life without Li Chuiying, and he didn't want to go through that again. She felt remorseful and quickly apologized to Li Chuiying, Tianyu's mother, it's all my fault. Can you forgive me this once? I promise I won't do it again, and I'll definitely treat you well. Let's not divorce, okay? Li Chuiying didn't say anything. He didn't even look at Zhao Wenshui. Instead, he turned to Zhao Baoshan and said, Dad, let's go to Li Zheng's place now. Zhao Wenshui quickly grabbed Li Chuiying's sleeve. Tianyu's mother, don't go. Tianyu's mother, I beg you. Li Chuiying pulled his sleeves and said coldly, let go of me. Tianyu's mother, Zhao Wenshui, I told you to let go of me. Did you hear me? Li Chuiying's face was gloomy. Second brother, if you knew this would happen, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. What's the use of trying to persuade her to stay now? Second sister-in-law has already given up on you. Since you're not fated to be together anymore, let's just leave each other alone and leave each other some dignity. Even if you keep forcing second sister-in-law to stay today, she'll make a fuss about the divorce in a few days. Why don't you just end it now? Zhao Wenshui couldn't bear to do that. If he didn't persuade her to stay now, it would be too late when Li Chunying returned to her parents' home. Zhao Baoshan also said, Baoshan, don't stop them. Let's go to Li Zheng's house and sign the divorce papers. Dad. Chapter 1971. Unable to defy Zhao Baoshan's authority, Zhao Wenshui had no choice but to follow Zhao Baoshan out of the house. No matter how unwilling he was, no one would help him at this time. Everyone was even on Li Chuiying's side. Could it be that she was really going to divorce him today? Zhao Baoshan's face was full of worry. For a moment, he didn't know what to do. When they walked out of the house, Hu Chunhua heard the commotion and came out to take a look. She had been waiting on Zhao Xinhui in the house and didn't have time to come out. She took the time to take a look. As soon as she came out, she saw them walking out of the courtyard. She hurriedly chased after them and asked, what's the matter with you? Where are you going? They all looked sullen and didn't speak. Hu Chunhua suddenly became anxious. What's the matter? What's the matter? Why aren't you saying anything? What are you all doing? Zhao Baoshan said, we're going to Li Zheng's house. Why are we going to Li Zheng's house? Divorce. Second brother and his second daughter-in-law are divorcing. Zhao Baoshan replied calmly. Hu Chunhua instantly exploded. What? Divorce? Old man, you're not confused, are you? Why are you letting second brother and his second daughter-in-law divorce? Why are you making such a fuss? Zhao Baoshan snorted coldly. How am I supposed to answer you with so many questions at once? When we come back, you can ask your precious son what he has done. Zhao Baoshan said and beckoned Zhao Wenshui and Li Chuiying to continue on their way to Li Zheng's house. Hu Chunhua raised her voice and made a fuss. Old man, don't be silly. What are you going to do? What's the point of divorcing second brother and his wife? With second brother's character, do you think he can find another wife after divorcing? Zhao Baoshan reprimanded in a deep voice. If you don't think it's embarrassing and aren't afraid of our old Zhao family being laughed at, you can continue shouting. Hua Chunhua was intimidated by Zhao Baoshan's expression, so she shut up resentfully. Why aren't you saying anything? It's so confusing. Hua Chunhua couldn't help complaining. Even though she couldn't ask, Hua Chunhua couldn't suppress her curiosity. She followed Zhao Baoshan and headed to Li Zhang's house. After arriving at Li Zhang's house, Zhao Baoshan explained everything. Originally, Li Zhang wanted to persuade them to reconcile, but he saw that the Zhao family's attitude was strange. Even his father-in-law and sister-in-law supported the divorce. Moreover, Li Chuiying was also determined to get a divorce. He guessed that there was something that was hard to say. Since it was their family matter, it wasn't appropriate for him to ask too much. Thus, he wrote the divorce papers and had them put their fingerprints on them. One copy was given to each of them, and the other copy was given to him for safekeeping. After receiving Li Zhang's divorce papers, Li Chuiying heaved a heavy sigh of relief. This time, he was truly free. With the divorce papers in hand, he would have nothing to do with Zhao Wenshui from now on. From now on, she might be able to live a new life. On the way back, Hua Chunhua was extremely anxious and kept muttering to herself. Zhao Baoshan was so annoyed that he finally explained everything to Hua Chunhua. Hua Chunhua didn't expect that Zhao Wenshui would actually do such a thing. She originally wanted to blame Li Chuiying, but now that she knew the reason, she didn't have the nerve to blame Li Chuiying. As long as one wasn't an idiot, they would be able to tell who was at fault. Chapter 1972. Hua Chunhua's black claws scratched Zhao Wenshui's body. You bastard, who told you to do these things? Let's see what you'll do after you divorce. Your father and I won't care about you. You brat, it's good enough that we raised you. Don't blame your father and me. Zhao Wenshui felt a burst of pain and saw that there was a red mark on his arm. He frowned and replied, Mother, it hurts so much. Why are you so ruthless to me? Be gentle, be gentle. My flesh will be torn off by you. Hua Chunhua muttered, You brat, you deserve to die. You don't even care about your face. Why do you still want your flesh? Mother, okay, I won't care about you anyway. Whether you live or die has nothing to do with me. I have to say it up front. If you don't have food, don't come to me. I won't cook for you like before. Hua Chunhua made up her mind to not care about Zhao Wenshui anymore. Last time, after Li Chuiying left, she almost couldn't support herself by taking care of the food for several people. After all, she was old and her legs were weak. How could she do so much? Mother, if you don't cook for me, what will I eat? What will Tianyu eat? Do you have the heart to watch us father and son starve to death? Zhao Wenshui began to play the sympathy card. If he didn't hug Hua Chunhua's thigh now, he would really be finished. Hua Chunhua said coldly, So what? It has nothing to do with me. Anyway, I won't care about your life or death. After that, Hua Chunhua was very angry. She ignored Zhao Wenshui and went back to the yard angrily. After Li Chuiying returned to her hometown, she went to the second branch's yard and began to pack her luggage. She didn't have many things, only some shabby clothes, which were not worth much at all. Zhao Jing'er still had a lot of betrothal gifts left, which added up to 25 taels. Li Chuiying didn't care about the other good things. In order to get a divorce, Li Chuiying had made some concessions on the distribution of the Li family's assets. As long as she could divorce Zhao Wenshui, so what if she lost a few things? She only asked for 10 taels of silver and gave the rest to Zhao Wenshui. After packing up, Li Chuiying prepared to leave. Second sister-in-law. Qian Zhurong walked into the house and held Li Chuiying's hand reluctantly. Since Li Chuiying's temperament had improved, the relationship between the two sisters-in-law had gradually deepened. Li Chuiying's sudden departure naturally made Qian Zhuzhe reluctant. After Li Chuiying left, he had one less person to talk to in old Zhao's house. Fourth sister-in-law. Li Chuiying also reluctantly held Qian Zhuzhe's hand and said, Fourth sister-in-law, I have no choice but to leave. You should know me. Yes. Qian Zhuzhe nodded heavily, I understand you. Second sister-in-law, since you're leaving, take care of yourself in the future. I hope you can take good care of yourself. Yes, yes. Fourth sister-in-law, you too. Take good care of yourself. If there's a chance, I'll come and see you. Okay. Qian Zhuzha's eyes suddenly turned red. She sniffled and hurriedly wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes with her sleeve. I hope second sister-in-law can find a good man in the future, one who will cherish you. Live happily for the rest of your life. Qian Zhuzha said sincerely. Now that they were divorced, Li Chueying's new life would begin. Everything was not impossible. Chapter 1973. Qian Zhui sighed, second sister-in-law, don't talk nonsense. How can you live without a man at home these days? Once you return to your parents' home, you can look for a good man. There are many good men these days. I believe you can find one. Li Chunying did not refute Qian Zhui's words. Anyway, she did not have any thoughts about men now. Instead of serving others like she served Zhao Wenshui, she would rather live alone. It would be more comfortable. In any case, she had 10 taels of silver now. As long as she worked hard, had hands and feet, and was diligent, she would be able to survive. Fourth sister-in-law, sigh, let's not talk so much. I'm going to say goodbye to third sister-in-law. I'll leave in a while. She did not want to stay at old Zhao's house for a moment longer. She was close to the third branch and thought that Sanfang had helped her a lot. After leaving old Zhao's house, she did not know when she would come back, so she had to say goodbye before leaving. Qian Zhui nodded, second sister-in-law, I'll go with you. Okay. As the two sisters-in-law spoke, they left old Zhao's courtyard. Zhao Tianyu suddenly returned. Zhao Tianyu was not at home when the commotion happened. The child was more playful and had run out to play until now. When he saw Li Chueying, he shouted at Li Chueying, Mother, I'm hungry. I want to eat. Is the food ready? Li Chueying's expression did not look good. Men were bad. Her son was becoming more and more like Zhao Wenshui after being spoiled by her. He had never cared for her and was the same as Zhao Wenshui. He only knew how to ask for things from her and served her like a little ancestor. Did she owe this father and son something in her previous life? There's no food. If you're hungry, go to your father. Li Chueying replied indifferently. Zhao Tianyu's brows knitted together, his face full of reluctance. Qian Zhui explained, Tianyu, your mother is leaving. If you want food, you can only ask your father. Where can I go? To your maternal grandmother's house. When will you be back? I'm not coming back. Zhao Tianyu stared at Li Chueying, but he didn't say anything. Instead, he turned around and went to find Zhao Wenshui. Father, my mother said that if I want to eat in the future, I can ask you for it. I'm hungry now. Where's the food? Where is the food? Zhao Wenshui looked at his precious son with a bitter face as he faced Zhao Tianyu. He didn't even have anything to eat, so how was he going to get food for Zhao Tianyu? Tianyu, your father and mother are angry. Go and persuade your mother not to leave. Father doesn't know how to cook, so how can I make food for you in the future? Zhao Wenshui coaxed Zhao Tianyu. After all, Zhao Tianyu was Li Chueying's son. For the sake of his son, Li Chueying might be soft-hearted and stay. That way, he wouldn't lose his wife. However, Zhao Tianyu was unhappy. Father, why should I persuade her? If she wants to leave, so be it. What's the point of keeping her? After hearing Zhao Tianyu's words, Li Chueying's hurt heart became even colder. Zhao Wenshui slapped Zhao Tianyu's head. You brat, what nonsense are you talking about? She's your mother. What good will it do you if she leaves? Zhao Tianyu cried in pain. Sob, sob, sob. Father, you're a bad person. Chapter 1974. Zhao Tianyu cried and complained, she left in the first place. Why do you have to stop her? Zhao Wenshui was very angry. Your mother will never come back after she leaves. I'll see who will cook for you and who will serve you. Zhao Tianyu replied unhappily, Dad, didn't Mom do the same last time? She left and stayed at Grandma's house for a few days before she came back obediently. This time, it will be the same. She will come back anyway. Why do you still need me to persuade her? After all, he was a child and didn't understand the meaning of divorce. He thought that it was just a quarrel as usual. Zhao Wenshui couldn't explain it. Li Chuiying ignored the father and son. They could do whatever they wanted in the future. Anyway, it had nothing to do with her. After a while, Qian Zhonghu and Li Chuiying arrived at Zhao Yun's house. Zhao Yun's family was shocked when they heard the news of Li Chuiying's divorce. So many things had happened when Li Chuiying had just returned from her house. Now, she had even signed the divorce papers and said goodbye to them. Zhao Yun's family had the same opinion about Li Chuiying's divorce. They stood on Li Chuiying's side. After all, Zhao Wenshui had gone too far. Most people wouldn't be able to accept it. Li Chuiying had suffered a lot during this period. Since she had to live in pain, it was better to divorce early and start a new life. As for Zhao Yun, she had been hoping that Li Chuiying would come to her senses and leave Zhao Wenshui's side for a long time. Now, it had come true. Second sister-in-law, although second brother is our biological brother, we know his character and we support you. Take good care of yourself after you leave. We will have fewer chances to see each other in the future. If you have time, I hope you can come back to see us and the child. Liang Jinxiao held Li Chuiying's hand and said. Li Chuiying replied with a choked voice, okay. Third sister-in-law, fourth sister-in-law, thank you. It's so good to have sisters-in-law like you. Even if she divorced, these people didn't defend Zhao Wenshui. Instead, they stood on her side. She would remember this friendship in her heart. After a few words, Li Chuiying got up and said goodbye. There was no point in delaying it. There was still some distance to go back to her Nyangnyang's home. The sooner she went back, the sooner she could complain to her family. The third branch didn't try to persuade her to stay. They knew Li Chuiying's mood at the moment. Going back to her parents' home was her only support now. Looking at Li Chuiying's departing figure, the people of the third branch sighed in their hearts. Zhao Yun sincerely wished Li Chuiying a happy life. For Li Chuiying, a divorce was definitely a new lease of life. But Zhao Wenshui, Zhao Yun, was very curious. What would this disgusting man do in the future? Zhao Baoshan and Hua Chunhua would definitely have a headache because of the second branch. In the afternoon, when the sun was still up, it was very strong. Li Chuiying was panting after walking for a while. She couldn't walk anymore. She saw a big tree on the side and leaned against it to rest. She wanted to rest and recover before continuing. The leaves blocked most of the sunlight, so it was still cool under the tree's shade. Unfortunately, she left in a hurry and didn't bring any water with her. She was so thirsty that her throat felt like it was smoking. She wanted to drink more water to quench her thirst. But this place was in the middle of nowhere. How could there be water to drink? Li Chuiying felt a little hopeless when she thought about how long she still had to walk. Ah! I'm so thirsty. Chapter 1975. Just when he was in despair, he suddenly saw a man coming from afar. The man was pulling a handcart with some goods on it. Because the sun was very hot and he was pulling so many things, the man's head was so hot that many beads of sweat flowed out. Li Chuiying found that he actually knew this man. He was Zhao Ping, a bachelor from Shuilan village. Zhao Ping pulled the handcart to the shade of the tree where Li Chuiying rested. He also rested for a while. After such a long walk, although he was a man, he still couldn't stand it. After resting and chatting for a while, they continued their journey. Li Chuiying was too embarrassed to greet Zhao Ping. When Zhao Ping saw Li Chuiying resting in the shade of the tree, he smiled and greeted Li Chuiying. Sister-in-law, I didn't expect to see you here. Seeing the honest smile on Zhao Ping's face, Li Chuiying smiled embarrassedly. Yes, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet you, brother Zhao. Sister-in-law, where are you going? Back to my mother's home. Li Chuiying replied. Zhao Ping responded and then asked curiously, is your mother's home in the Li village? Yes, it's in the Li village. Why do you ask? Zhao Ping smiled innocently again. I'm going to help someone deliver something to the Li village. If you don't mind, can we go together? Zhao Ping was a bachelor. His family didn't have any fields, so he usually did some rough work nearby. Today, he was helping a family in the village deliver something to the Li village. He could earn 20 copper coins for this trip. It wasn't much, but it didn't take long. He just needed to help. Anyway, he had nothing to do at home. After saying that, Zhao Ping realized that he said something wrong. He said embarrassedly, Sister-in-law, I'm sorry to offend you. If you're afraid of being seen and gossiped, you don't have to accompany me. I just think it's a long journey. We can talk on the way and kill time. Seeing Zhao Ping's kindness, Li Chuiying said, then let's go together. If others see us, they can talk about us. I'm divorced anyway. I don't care about my reputation. Upon hearing Li Chuiying's words, Zhao Ping's eyes were filled with shock. Sister-in-law, are you joking? You divorced brother Wenshui? Yes. Li Chuiying replied, I just got divorced today, so I'm rushing back to my parents' home. Zhao Ping didn't know what to say for a while. After all, he was just an outsider. He couldn't get involved in the couple's business, let alone ask them why they divorced. Since he had made such a big decision, he definitely had his own reasons. Sister-in-law, then you should live your life well in the future. Actually, it's okay to live alone. I've been living alone for so many years. Zhao Ping was silent for a few seconds before he said. Li Chuiying pursed his lips and chuckled. That's right. There's no one in this world who can't live without someone. I also hope that I can live a good life in the future. The two of them exchanged a few words before Zhao Ping took out a water bag from the handcart. The things they carried along the way were heavy and it was very hot. Zhao Ping knew that they would be thirsty, so he brought more water. Li Chuansui was a little excited when she saw this. She wanted to ask Zhao Ping for water, but she was embarrassed. Chapter 1976. After he finished drinking, he saw Li Chuiying looking at him. To be exact, she was staring at the water bag in his hand. Li Chuiying didn't seem to have brought any water. After walking for so long, she was probably as thirsty as he was. Unfortunately, he had been drinking from the water bag. Zhao Ping didn't know if Li Chuiying would mind. After thinking for a moment, Zhao Ping took the water bag in his hand and handed it to Li Chuiying. He asked Li Chuiying, Sister-in-law, do you want some water too? Li Chuiying was embarrassed to accept it, but she was really thirsty. If she didn't drink any water now, she was afraid that her lips would crack. Li Chuiying put down her pride and reached out to take the water bag. Brother Zhao, thank you. I'm dying of thirst. Luckily, I have your water. Li Chuiying said gratefully. Then, she took the water bag and gulped it down like Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping stared at Li Chuiying as she drank. He saw that Li Chuiying was drinking from the water bag like him. Didn't this mean that the two of them were indirectly kissing? Zhao Ping's ears turned red for a moment. He didn't dare to look at Li Chuiying again. He hadn't married for so many years, so he was very shy in front of this woman. After resting for a while, the two of them got up and prepared to set off. They chatted along the way. They felt that it was much better than traveling alone. With a companion, they didn't feel so tired. However, as Li Chuiying walked, she accidentally tripped over a stone in front of her and fell to the ground. At the same time, his ankle was heavily twisted, and an intense pain spread throughout his body. Cold sweat broke out on Li Chuiying's forehead as she muttered. Zhao Ping hurriedly put down the handcart in his hand. He squatted down and asked Li Chueying, "Sister-in-law, how are you? Are you okay?" "I think I sprained my ankle." Li Chueying replied with some difficulty. He was in so much pain that even speaking was difficult. Zhao Ping frowned and said to Li Chueying, "Sister-in-law, you've sprained your ankle. Do you want me to massage it for you? Would that be better?" Li Chueying hurriedly waved his hand and refused. In ancient times, how could a woman's body be casually seen by a man, let alone be casually touched by a man? Especially his feet. Zhao Ping asked because he was too worried about Li Chueying's condition. He didn't think too much about it. "It's all right, big brother Zhao." Zhao Ping could only feel anxious, but there was nothing he could do to help. It was obvious that Li Chueying was in great pain. Now, he definitely couldn't leave. "Sister-in-law, can you stand up?" Zhao Ping asked with concern. Li Chueying tried and found that the slightest movement would cause her to gasp in pain. I don't think so. I don't think I can leave." "Big brother Zhao, why don't you leave first? When you reach Li village, you can send a message to my family and ask them to come and pick me up." Zhao Ping didn't agree. He thought that it would be dangerous for Li Chueying to sit alone on the road. Moreover, it was so hot now. How could he be at ease leaving Li Chueying alone? Zhao Ping thought for a moment and said to Li Chueying, "Sister-in-law, why don't you sit in my handcart? I'll take you to Li village and then send you back. That way, you don't have to wait. Otherwise, I don't know when your family will come and pick you up." Chapter 1977. She and Zhao Wenshui were not relatives. Moreover, she was divorced from Zhao Wenshui and had nothing to do with old Zhao's family. How could she trouble Zhao Ping? Li Chueying replied, "Brother Zhao, I appreciate your kindness, but it's not easy for you to pull the goods. Don't add me to your burden." Zhao Ping waved his hand and said, "Sister-in-law, don't be so polite with me. You're not that heavy. I won't be tired if I pull you on the handcart. Brother Zhao, it's really not necessary. Sigh, sister-in-law, I don't feel safe leaving you alone in this remote place. Please don't refuse. I'll just rest for a while if I'm tired. It's better than waiting for someone to come. But, sister-in-law, let me help you onto the handcart." Li Chueying could not resist Zhao Ping's enthusiasm and nodded in agreement. She sat on the handcart. There was a bag of goods under it. It seemed to be a bag of cotton, so it was soft and did not jolt much. Zhao Ping pulled the handcart in front and walked towards Li village. Perhaps it was because it was too hot, Zhao Ping sweated a lot and his back was soaked. Seeing how hot it was, Zhao Ping rolled up his sleeves and exposed his strong muscles to the air. Li Chueying sat behind the handcart and could not help but stare. He glanced at Zhao Ping's arms. Men who worked often were strong and muscular, much better than Zhao Wenshui. Zhao Wenshui didn't work on a daily basis, and his body had already grown fat. His body was full of fat, and he didn't have Zhao Ping's strength. Li Chueying stared at Zhao Ping's muscles for a long time. When he came back to his senses, Zhao Ping had stopped. Looking into Zhao Ping's deep eyes, Li Chueying felt a little embarrassed. "Brother Zhao, are you tired?" Li Chueying asked. "I'm fine. Let's take a break first. It's very hot." Li Chueying quickly took out the handkerchief in his hand and handed it to Zhao Ping. He said to Zhao Ping, "Brother Zhao, take this handkerchief and wipe your sweat." Zhao Ping hurriedly waved his hand and refused, "Sister-in-law, no need, no need. How can I dirty your handkerchief? I'll just wipe it with my clothes." Zhao Ping said as he wiped his face with his sleeve. The sweat was wiped away, but the sleeve was soaked with sweat. Seeing this, Li Chueying felt even more embarrassed to let Zhao Ping drag him back to the village. Zhao Ping was so tired that he sweated so much. "Sister-in-law, you've rested enough. Let's continue our journey. We have to get to Li's village as soon as possible so that your family can rub your feet for you. If your foot is injured, you have to pay attention to it. Otherwise, it won't be good if you get a chronic disease. Li Chuiying was touched when he heard the concern in Zhao Ping's words. A strange man could treat her like this, but the man at home who had shared a bed with her for more than 10 years had a very bad attitude towards her, and had done so many things to her. It was true that good men could not find wives, but those scumbags could find women. It was really unfair. If Zhao Wenshui could be half as good as Zhao Ping, perhaps she would not have thought of divorce. The two of them continued their journey and finally arrived at Li's village. Li Chuiying was also sent back to her parents' home. Li Chuiying thanked Zhao Ping and did not ask him to stay. He knew that Zhao Ping had to hurry back and would not take long. Chapter 1978. I think Zhao Wenshui is bullying us because we don't have enough people in the Li family, right? He didn't even remember what we said last time, and now he's doing this again. We have to find him and have a good talk with him. Let's see if he dares to do this again in the future, said Li Chuiying's eldest brother. Li Chuiying's second brother also agreed. That's right. Our Li family is considered a respectable family in the village. We can't be bullied so casually. What he did not only bullied our sister, but also looked down on our Li family. Our warning didn't work, so he should have a taste of his fist. The two brothers were furious and said that they would seek justice for Li Chuiying. Seeing that her two brothers were defending her, Li Chuiying was very touched. She also wanted to teach Zhao Wenshui a lesson, but she also knew that it was meaningless to argue about it now. She had already divorced Zhao Wenshui and returned to her family because she didn't want to have anything to do with Zhao Wenshui. She also didn't want to go back to the Zhao family and see Zhao Wenshui again. Therefore, she persuaded her two brothers. Big brother, second brother, don't be angry. It's not worth arguing with this kind of person. Anyway, I've already divorced him. From now on, we won't have anything to do with each other. Let bygones be bygones. Don't make yourself feel uncomfortable. Li Chuiying's brothers respected Li Chuiying's opinion. Sister, we'll listen to you. If you want to teach Zhao Wenshui a lesson, we'll help you teach him a lesson. If you're unhappy, you have to vent your anger. If you don't want to see him again or have anything to do with him, then we won't go. Now that we're divorced, it's fine. Our Li family isn't that poor. We can support one more person. With her two brothers' words, Li Chuiying was satisfied. Now that she had been wronged by Zhao Wenshui, fortunately, her family supported her after she came back. If her family didn't accept her at this time, she really didn't know what to do. Big brother, second brother, thank you. I came back with you and brought shame to the Li family. I didn't expect you to not despise me and be willing to accept me and not chase me out. Hearing Li Chuiying's words, the two brothers both glanced at Li Chuiying. Little sister, what are you talking about? It's not your fault. It's Zhao Wenshui's fault. When have you ever embarrassed the Li family? That's right, little sister, don't think too much. You shouldn't live with that kind of person. He's really too much. He doesn't put you in his eyes, and he also doesn't put our Li family in his eyes. He's simply going too far. If we don't let you come back, where else can you go? Could it be that they were going back to old Zhao's house? If we really go back, won't that Zhao Wenshui go even more overboard? When Li Chuiying heard this, he felt a warm current flowing into his heart. Your maternal family is still the best. Your maternal family is always so protective of you. No matter what you do, they will stand on your side and think for you. At this moment, Li Chuiying finally felt the warmth of home. If she wanted to stay at home for the rest of her life, it would definitely be much better than staying at old Zhao's house. Seeing that Li Chuiying's foot was injured, old Madame Li hurriedly took out some sesame oil and helped Li Chuiying massage it. Chapter 1979. Old Madame Li's thinking was still more conservative. She felt that Li Chuiying couldn't stay in her maternal home forever. It wasn't that she disliked Li Chuiying, but she knew that if a woman didn't have a man, it would be inconvenient for her in the future. In addition, she didn't mind, and neither did her two sons. However, if her sister-in-law lived in her maternal home, her daughter-in-law would definitely object. After a long time, she was afraid that some conflicts would arise. As old Madame Li helped Li Chuiying push her feet, she said earnestly, "A woman can't do it alone. When you're old, you have to find a man to support each other. Two people are better than one. You don't understand now, but you'll understand in the future. There aren't all bad men in this world. There are good men too. I'll ask someone later to see if there are any suitable men. If there are, I'll help you arrange a marriage. When the time comes, you can marry him." Li Chuiying had already given up on marriage. How could she think about men now? "Mother, at my age, with my conditions, what kind of man can I find? I'm afraid that I'll find someone worse. It's better not to torment myself." Old Madame Li said with a straight face, "You're wrong. At your age, with your conditions, why can't you find another man? Nowadays, there are many bachelors who have lost their wives. Can't we just find a good one among them?" Speaking of bachelors, Li Chuiying's mind suddenly flashed with Zhao Ping's face. Zhao Ping was honest, hard-working, and very considerate. Although his family was a little poor, he could be considered a good man. If she could marry such a man for the rest of her life, Li Chuiying would be willing. However, she didn't dare to think about it now. After all, Zhao Wenshui and Zhao Ping were distant relatives. If she really married Zhao Ping, she didn't know what others would say. "Mother, let's talk about this later. There's no rush now." The two Li brothers also echoed, "That's right, Mother. There's no rush. Even if we find a man for little sister, it'll take some time. In any case, she'll stay at home for a while, right? This kind of thing can't be done too hastily, lest you find another man like Zhao Wenshui. The rest of your little sister's life will be really bitter." Old Madame Li compromised, "All right then, let's talk about it later." On the other hand, old Zhao's family had a lot of trouble after Li Chuiying left. Without Li Chuiying, Zhao Wenshui and Zhao Tianyu had no one to take care of them. Zhao Tianyu had nothing to eat, so he could only stir in front of Zhao Wenshui. For lunch, she got a bowl from Qian Zhuzhe to fill her stomach. He had already eaten lunch, and he couldn't possibly continue to eat at other people's place at night. Now, he could only count on himself. "Dad, hurry up and cook for me. Do you want me to starve to death?" Zhao Tianyu complained to Zhao Wenshui. Zhao Wenshui held a stick in his hand and waved it at Zhao Tianyu, cursing loudly, "Brat, can't you see that your father can't eat? Who do you want me to look for?" "Dad, you're my father. If I don't look for you, who should I look for? Who told you to drive Mother away in anger? Otherwise, do you think I would be hungry now?" Zhao Wenshui was angry when he heard Zhao Tianyu's words. Although he was the one who drove Mother away, didn't this brat get involved? He wanted him to persuade Li Chuiying to stay, but he said those words. Chapter 1980. Zhao Tianyu burst into tears. "Father, you're a bad person. I'm old Zhao's grandson, not old Li's grandson. How can I find my mother? You stinky boy, why are you crying? Don't you think it's enough trouble? If you cry again, I'll beat you." Zhao Wenshui threatened while waving the stick in his hand. Zhao Tianyu was not jealous. He was often threatened, but there were few times when he could really beat him. He thought Zhao Wenshui was the same. "Father, how can I not cry if you don't give me food? I'm your precious son, but you want to starve me to death. Woo woo woo." Zhao Wenshui saw that Zhao Tianyu did not listen to him and was annoyed by Zhao Tianyu's shouting. He took the stick in his hand and hit Zhao Tianyu several times. Zhao Tianyu's arms suddenly had a red mark. Zhao Tianyu felt a burst of pain and cried even louder. Ah, it hurts so much. Father, you're so bad." Zhao Tianyu cried and suddenly rushed out of the room. He ran to Hu Chunhua to complain. "Grandmother, my father didn't give me food and hit me with a stick." You have to be the judge. Woo woo woo. Seeing Zhao Tianyu cry like this, Hu Chunhua felt a little distressed. No matter what, Zhao Tianyu was her grandson, not an outsider. Where did your father hit you? Hu Chunhua asked with a frown. Zhao Tianyu rolled up his sleeve. There was a clear mark of a stick on it. Seeing that Zhao Tianyu was injured to this extent, Hu Chunhua immediately became a little annoyed. She started to scold him. This second brother is really too outrageous. Of all the things he could do, he actually hit a child? I don't know where he got the face to vent his anger on a child. Grandmother, it hurts so much. Zhao Tianyu looked at Hu Chunhua with grievance. Hu Chunhua took Zhao Tianyu's hand and said, "Let's go, Tianyu. Grandmother will take you to find your father." Yes, yes. Zhao Tianyu nodded heavily. Hu Chunhua took Zhao Tianyu to the room of the second branch. Zhao Wenshui was sitting in front of the bed, frowning. Hu Chunhua walked in and started scolding Zhao Wenshui. I say, Lauer, look at what you've done to Tianyu. He is your son, the root of your second branch. Zhao Wenshui said helplessly, Mother, it's all because this brat doesn't know any better and only knows how to make trouble in front of me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have beaten him with a stick. Hu Chunhua snorted. I'm hungry, so I'm asking you for food. Is that a troublemaker? As Tianyu's father, if he doesn't ask you for food, who else would he ask? If you didn't do such a shameful thing, would Tianyu's mother run back to her mother's house with you? Zhao Wenshui was so depressed that he couldn't help but sigh. Mother, can you not mention this? Don't mention it. Then tell me, what about Tianyu? The next time I see you hitting him, I'll come over and beat you with a stick. Hu Chunhua warned. Zhao Wenshui quickly said, Mother, I won't. Hu Chunhua turned around and patted Zhao Tianyu's head. Your father won't dare to hit you next time. If he does, tell grandmother and I'll beat him for you. Zhao Tianyu nodded his head heavily. Grandmother, what should I do if I'm hungry now? My father won't let me eat. Chapter 1981. Hu Chunhua was furious when she heard this. She reprimanded Zhao Wenshui, dream on. You still want to eat with me? Last time, I almost died from serving your second branch. Now you want to rely on me? I say, second brother, no matter how shameless you are, you can't be like this, right? Zhao Wenshui's eyes revealed a hint of disappointment. He sighed and said, Mother, I don't have a choice. Other than you, who else can I ask for food? Besides, I'm a man and I don't know how to cook. You can't just watch me and Tianyu starve to death, right? Last time, Hu Chunhua allowed Zhao Wenshui and Zhao Tianyu to eat with them because of this. This time, she was determined not to relent, lest she get into trouble again. She was old and her legs were inconvenient. It was enough for her to serve Zhao Xinhui alone. How could she have the ability to serve the other two? Hu Chunhua flatly refused. What does it have to do with me if you starve to death? Now that we've separated from the family, it's good enough that your father and I don't rely on your second branch. Do you still want an old woman like me to serve you and your father? Mother, are you that heartless? Zhao Wenshui asked bitterly. Hu Chunhua snorted coldly, if I'm not heartless to you, then I'm heartless to myself. Do you think I'm stupid? Why do you have to bring trouble to yourself? Do you think you don't have a long life? Zhao Wenshui's eyes turned. Since he couldn't beg for food for free, he should at least give him some money, right? Thus, he said to Hu Chunhua, Mother, if I eat with you, can't I pay you money every month? If it was in the past, Hu Chunhua would probably think about it when she heard that he was willing to pay. Now that she received a lot of money from Zhao Xinhui, how could she and Zhao Baoshan spend it all, especially when they lived in the countryside? Even if he ate well every day, the money would be enough to last him for a lifetime. Therefore, there was no need for him to exhaust himself for Zhao Wenshui's money. She still wanted to keep this old life and slowly enjoy it. Otherwise, when she earned the money, her two legs would fall apart and she wouldn't have the fortune to enjoy it. If that happened, then everything would be in vain. Who wants your lousy silver? You can find someone else to cook it for you. Anyway, this old woman doesn't know how to serve you. Hua Chunhua said as she turned around and walked out. Zhao Tianyu cried out, Grandma, are you really not going to cook for me? I'm starving to death, I'm so hungry, so hungry. Hua Chunhua gritted her teeth and replied cruelly, Go look for your father, just look for him. Who asked him to do those dirty things that angered your mother away? After saying that, Hua Chunhua went out, leaving only Zhao Tianyu and Zhao Wenshui. The father and son looked at each other, and Zhao Tianyu weakly cried out, Father, I'm hungry. Zhao Wenshui rolled his eyes at Zhao Tianyu, You little bastard, you know how to complain. Father. You didn't give me food, and you hit me. Zhao Wenshui waved the stick in his hand again, Try saying that again. Zhao Tianyu cried out and cried again, Father, if you want to hit me, I'll go look for Grandma. Zhao Wenshui was annoyed and helpless. What kind of son did he raise that he would only be happy if he angered him to death? Originally, he wanted to ignore Zhao Tianyu and let him do whatever he wanted. But then he found that his stomach was growling a few times, and he was hungry. Chapter 1982. Zhao Wenshui's face was gloomy as he thought about what to do. If Hua Chunhua didn't agree to cook for him, who else could he go to? Could it really be like what Hua Chunhua said and let him find an outsider to cook for him? But who could he find? Zhao Wenshui thought about it. In the entire old Zhao family, he couldn't find anyone from the first branch. After what he did to Feng Zhangxia, he would probably become enemies with Zhao Wenshu in the future. If he went to the first branch to discuss this matter, wouldn't he be asking for trouble? As for the third branch, it was even more impossible to get them to cook for him. The third branch was now the wealthiest in old Zhao's family. Why would they care about the little money he gave them? Then only the fourth branch was left, he just didn't know if the fourth branch would agree. After all, Qian Zhuzhe was a bit angry today, now was not the time to hesitate. He had to hurry up, otherwise he would continue to starve. Zhao Wenshui thought about it and sighed. He decided to look for Qian Zhuzhe and tell her. What if Qian Zhuzhe agreed? Thus, Zhao Wenshui left the second branch's room and ran to discuss it with Qian Zhuzhe. Qian Zhuzhe originally didn't want to agree, but if she didn't agree, where would Zhao Tianyu get the food? She had a problem with Zhao Wenshui, but Zhao Tianyu was innocent. Without his mother, his life was already inconvenient. Now that he couldn't even eat, it was even more pitiful. In any case, Zhao Wenshui wasn't eating for free. Since he was paying, there was nothing wrong with her cooking for 2 more people. When Zhao Wenshui ran out of money, he would have to suffer in the future. The father and son finally stopped quarreling after they ate. Zhao Yun, and the people of the third branch chatted for a while and then went to bed early. When he returned home, he realized that it was home that gave him a sense of comfort and stability. This was something that no other place could give him. No matter how good the Shiitsi's residence was, it couldn't compare to the atmosphere at home. This was the warmth that a family should have when living together. Who knew that this kind of warm days would not last? After a while, Mu Lianfeng's domineering cousin came over and directly went to Zhao Yun's house. She even looked like she was going to punish her. A luxurious carriage stopped in front of Zhao Yun's courtyard and Murong Shuang stepped down. It had to be said that although this woman's personality was a little lacking, she was indeed as beautiful as a flower and could cause the downfall of a city, apart from her arrogance and haughtiness. She was wearing a light red pleated long dress, which added a touch of charm and youthfulness to her. She wore an exquisite peony-shaped hairpin on her head, with tassels hanging in front of her forehead. She looked very noble. At first glance, one could feel that she was out of the ordinary and had an extraordinary aura. Compared to Murong Shuang, Zhao Yun's appearance was much more ordinary. Zhao Yun could at most be considered delicate and pretty. There was still a long way to go when compared to Murong Shuang. This is Zhao Yun's house? Murong Shuang asked the coachman. Yes, Mississippi. When we arrived at the village, we asked around. This is the place. Murong Shuang nodded. She raised her head and glanced at Zhao Yun's house and snorted. Although this house was considered good in the village, compared to their big family's house, it couldn't even compare to their toilets. She didn't know how her cousin could endure living in such a place for so long. Chapter 1983. When she came out, she bumped into Murong Shuang. Zhao Yun was slightly stunned. She did not expect this woman to come straight to her. She must have heard old Madame Mu's words and felt indignant, so she came over. When Murong Shuang saw Zhao Yun, her eyebrows knitted together in displeasure. It was all because this woman had snatched away her cousin. Murong Shuang was furious at the thought of this. If Zhao Yun had some beauty, it would be fine. However, she clearly had no beauty at all. Even the maids in the crown prince's mansion were prettier than Zhao Yun. To what extent was his cousin so hungry that he chose a woman like Zhao Yun? Seeing the hostility in Murong Shuang's eyes, Zhao Yun smirked and asked Murong Shuang, "May I know why you've come to my house, miss?" Murong Shuang looked down at Zhao Yun with a condescending attitude. It was as if she did not care about Zhao Yun at all. In her opinion, Zhao Yun was just a lowly country bumpkin. How could she be worthy of speaking to her like this? "Where's my cousin?" Murong Shuang opened her mouth and asked flatly. Zhao Yun's beautiful eyes narrowed slightly. So she was not here to look for Mu Lianfeng. It seemed that Mu Lianfeng would not have an easy time avoiding this woman. Although he had left the crown prince's mansion, he did not expect Murong Shuang to come looking for him. "He's not in my house now," Zhao Yun replied. "UB*TCH, where else could my cousin be if he's not in your house?" "Huh? Do you think you can hide him? I'm going to look for my cousin. He must be in your house." As she spoke, Murong Shuang took a step forward, intending to enter Zhao Yun's house to look for him. However, Zhao Yun blocked Murong Shuang's way. "I said I'm not here, so I'm not here. What right do you have to come to my house to look for someone? This is my home, whoever I let in can enter." Zhao Yun said coldly, her body erupting with a unique aura. Even though she was standing in front of Murong Shuang, she did not show any signs of weakness. She did not take Murong Shuang seriously. "*TCH, get out of my way." Murong Shuang snapped. It seemed that some people were too insatiable. What daughter of a respectable family? Every time they opened their mouths, they would call her a slut. How could there be any elegance to speak of? "Why should I ask you to step aside? If you want to enter my house, you'll naturally have to beg me. I can even consider letting you in. You're so tyrannical, what status do you have to suppress me and order me around? You." Murong Shuang was exasperated. Usually, no one would talk to her like this. Because of her identity, many people had to lower their heads in front of her. However, a country bumpkin actually treated him with such an attitude. "Are you going to step aside or not? I'm going to look for my cousin. If you don't blame me for being rude." "Miss Murong, please have some self-respect. If you're polite to me, I'll be polite to you. Otherwise, you won't be able to get anything out of me." Zhao Yun's words made Murong Shuang so angry that her eyes turned red. She wanted to enter the house to look for Mu Lianfeng, but Zhao Yun would not let her. Dragging it out like this was not a solution, so she had to force her way in. Murong Shuang raised her hand and cursed, "*TCH, since you don't appreciate my kindness, don't blame me for hitting you." However, before Murong Shuang's hand could land on Su Xiaxia's face, Zhao Yun intercepted it. Chapter 1984. Then there was a "paw" sound. Not to mention the slap on the face, just hearing it made people feel pain. Murong Shuang was stunned by Zhao Yun's slap. There was a burning pain on her face and it took her a while to react. Her eyes turned red and she wanted to fight Zhao Yun to the death. Slut, you actually dare to hit me. I am a dignified first-rank family's daughter. Who do you think you are to hit me? Murong Shuang didn't just feel the pain on her face, she also felt that she had lost face. She wanted to teach Zhao Yun a lesson, but she was taught a lesson by Zhao Yun instead. Normally, no one dared to slap her. This was the first time she had suffered this kind of grievance. Her parents couldn't bear to touch her, and in the end, she was beaten red in the face by Zhao Yun. Why can't I hit you? You're already waving your hand at me. If I don't dodge, am I supposed to stretch my face out for you to slap me? I know you are a large family's daughter, but our great Zhou country's laws don't casually stipulate that nobles can hit commoners without any reason. I hope young Miss Murong won't cause trouble for no reason. Otherwise, if you suffer, you'll cry and complain about me. You. Slut, I definitely won't let you off. Murong Shuang covered her face and angrily replied. However, she didn't dare to impulsively charge into the room again. This time she didn't bring many people, but there were 2 guards. Since she couldn't beat Zhao Yun, she could let the 2 guards take care of Zhao Yun. Murong Shuang coldly said to the 2 guards behind her, "Are you 2 idiots blind? You don't know how to make a move when you should. Hurry up and teach this slut a lesson for me." When the 2 guards behind Murong Shuang heard the order, they hurried forward and prepared to make a move against Zhao Yun. At this time, a little child ran in from outside the courtyard. It was Daodu. When Daodu saw that the 2 guards were not going to touch Zhao Yun, he started to shout, "You're not allowed to bully my mother, did you hear me? If you bully my mother, I'll teach you a lesson." However, no one would take the words of a child seriously, so Daodu's warning was completely ineffective. The 2 guards continued to walk towards Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. Murong Shuang had brought 2 bodyguards with her, and it was obvious that they were skilled in martial arts. It would be difficult for him to deal with such trained bodyguards. "Don't you dare bully my mother!" Daodu roared when he saw that Zhao Yun was in danger. Murong Shuang turned her head and looked at Daodu. Daodu's little face was somewhat similar to Mu Lianfeng's. It was obvious that he was Mu Lianfeng's biological son. When she returned to the Shitzi manor, old Madame Mu told her about the situation, and also told her about Daodu's existence. When she found out that Zhao Yun had given birth to Mu Lianfeng's son, Murong Shuang's heart was filled with jealousy. How could any woman feel at ease when she saw the man she liked have a child with another woman? When she saw Daodu, Murong Shuang went even more crazy. Just as Daodu rushed towards Zhao Yun, he was stopped by Murong Shuang. Murong Shuang grabbed Daodu's collar and said coldly, "Little bastard, don't go over there." Daodu struggled in Murong Shuang's hands. Let go of me, you bad person who bullied my mother." Chapter 1985. Little B** starred, "How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? Do you want to die?" Murong Shuang said coldly, her gaze terrifying. Murong Shuang was already disgusted by Daodu's existence, and now she was even more disgusted by Daodu. She was clearly the daughter of a wealthy family, but now she felt like a crazy woman. She did not have any demeanor at all. She was probably blinded by hatred, and did not care about her image at all. Daodu lifted his little face and looked at Murong Shuang, his little face full of anger. "I won't allow anyone to bully my mother." Even when faced with the fierce Murong Shuang, Daodu still said firmly. Murong Shuang's gaze became even sharper. At the same time, Murong Shuang's 2 bodyguards had already made their move on Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun had never practiced martial arts, so how could she be a match for these people? Not long after, she was captured by the 2 bodyguards. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao heard the commotion outside the house, and as soon as they came out, they saw the 2 men holding Zhao Yun. They were so frightened that their faces turned ashen, and they shouted at the 2 bodyguards, "What are you doing? Why are you holding my daughter? Let her go, let her go." The 2 bodyguards ignored Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao. Liang Jinxiao was extremely anxious, and he quickly patted Zhao Wenhua, Yun-er's father. Hurry up and save Yun-er. Okay. Zhao Wenhua replied. However, just as he rushed over, before he could even get close to Zhao Yun-er, the bodyguard raised his leg and kicked down. Zhao Wenhua flew out and landed heavily on the ground. Ouch! Zhao Wenhua groaned in pain, feeling as if his bones had been broken. He was no match for these people, and it seemed impossible for him to save Zhao Yun-er. However, these people had strangely captured Zhao Yun-er. As her parents, they were naturally very worried, afraid that these people wanted to do something bad and hurt Zhao Yun-er. Liang Jinxiao quickly rushed to Zhao Wenhua and helped Zhao Wenhua up from the ground. Yun-er's father, how are you? Where are you hurt? Zhao Wenhua got up from the ground in pain, and waved his hand. Yun-er's mother, don't worry. It's just a little bit, I don't think I'm hurt. Liang Jinxiao's eyes were still filled with worry. Yun-er's father, please don't be his father. These people obviously did not come with good intentions. First, they captured Zhao Yun-er, and now, they injured Zhao Wenhua. They did not know what their motive was. Zhao Wenhua held his aching waist and warned the two guards who were holding Zhao Yun-er, hurry up and let go of my daughter. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Zhao Yun knew that Zhao Wenhua was no match for these people. She was afraid that Zhao Wenhua would get hurt again if he rushed over, so Zhao Yun said, Father, don't come over. You're not their match. But Yun-er, what are these people trying to do? Zhao Wenhua's face was full of worry, and Liang Jinxiao was also very anxious. Zhao Yun-er comforted them, Father, Mother, don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Even though Zhao Yun was comforting them, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua's faces were full of worry. Daodu was even more anxious. He was afraid that Zhao Yun would be hurt in the slightest. He struggled in Murong Shuang's hands. Bad person, let go of me. Little bastard, what's the use of letting go of you? Do you think you can save your mother? Chapter 1986. Murong Shuang groaned in pain. How dare this little tch bite her? She must be tired of living. Because of the pain, Murong Shuang had no choice but to let go of Daodu's hand. She looked down and saw that there were clear teeth marks where Daodu had bitten her. One look and she knew that he had bitten her hard. Little tch, you're really ruthless. You're just like your mother. Murong Shuang's eyes were spitting fire. How could she let Daodu off so easily? When she saw Daodu running towards the two guards, she quickly chased after him and raised her hand to slap him. Zhao Yun was shocked. If this slap landed on Daodu's face, how could such a young child withstand it? He would probably vomit blood. Zhao Yun struggled to stop Murong Shuang. However, she was held tightly by the two guards and could not move at all. Even if she wanted to stop Murong Shuang, her strength fell short of her will. Zhao Yun's eyes immediately reddened. She swore in her heart that if this woman really hurt Daodu, she would not let her off so easily. She could have chosen to live peacefully with Murong Shuang. If she did not provoke her, she would not have teased her. However, this woman just loved to challenge her bottom line and do things that she did not want to see. Just as Murong Shuang's hand was about to land, a stone flew over and hit Murong Shuang's hand. Murong Shuang felt a burst of pain and withdrew her hand. Murong Shuang frowned and looked behind her. She saw Mu Lianfeng strolling towards her with a gloomy face. He looked as if he wanted to eat someone alive. When she saw Mu Lianfeng, Murong Shuang immediately put away the fierceness on her face and became much gentler. She smiled and said to Mu Lianfeng, Cousin. You're here? Mu Lianfeng snorted coldly and looked at Murong Shuang with a cold gaze. Are you here to bully my woman and my child? Who gave you the right? Murong Shuang, I don't care how tyrannical you are at home, but I hope you know your place and don't run outside and behave atrociously. With Mu Lianfeng's protection, Dao rushed towards Mu Lianfeng and threw himself into Mu Lianfeng's arms. Just now, he was also quite frightened. After all, he was still a child. How could he withstand so much shock and torment? Mu Lianfeng picked up Dao and comforted him. It's okay, Dao. Don't be afraid. Daddy is here. Daddy will protect you. Dao nodded heavily in response. Yeah. Murong Shuang anxiously defended herself when she saw Mu Lianfeng's cold expression. Cousin. How can you treat me like this for this mother and son? I'm your cousin. Who do they think they are? The more Murong Shuang thought about it, the more aggrieved she felt. She had rushed to Sun City from the capital city with great difficulty just to see her cousin. However, Mu Lianfeng had come to Shuilan village and said that he was busy with court matters. How could Murong Shuang not know that this was clearly Mu Lianfeng's excuse to avoid meeting her? She wanted to marry him, but because of Zhao Yun, and Dao, it had become increasingly difficult. Before Zhao Yun, and Dao were together, Mu Lianfeng had treated her well. Although there were no romantic feelings between them, he doted on her like a little sister and would never scold her or be fierce to her like he was now. Chapter 1987. Mu Lianfeng mocked coldly, "They are my family, they are my love. You, on the other hand, are only my cousin. Please be clear about this. Don't make us brothers and sisters turn against each other." Mu Lianfeng's meaning was clear. In his eyes, Zhao Yun, and Dao were the most important, while she, as his cousin, had no place at all. Murong Shuang's heart was a little crazy, and she pushed all the blame onto Zhao Yun, and Dao. Her hatred for the two of them grew. If it weren't for them, perhaps she and Mu Lianfeng would still have a chance. Cousin. Murong Shuang pouted, feeling wronged. Her eyes were filled with tears, looking delicate and pitiful. In the past, Mu Lianfeng's heart would probably soften, and he wouldn't be so cold and reproachful. But now, Mu Lianfeng didn't even look at Murong Shuang. Instead, he walked towards Zhao Yun, Seeing the two guards grab Zhao Yun's arms, the coldness in Mu Lianfeng's eyes intensified. He shouted at the two guards, "Let her go." The two guards were a little intimidated by the aura that exploded from Mu Lianfeng's body. They turned to look at Murong Shuang, waiting for her to give the order. They didn't dare to make a decision on their own, so they just let Zhao Yun go. Murong Shuang gritted her teeth. Her eyes were filled with unwillingness, as if her beloved had been snatched away by someone else. Looking at Zhao Yun, her eyes were filled with the desire to cut Zhao Yun, into 1,000 pieces. Seeing this, the two guards could only continue the stalemate and didn't let go. Mu Lianfeng saw that the two guards weren't tactful, so he didn't say anything else. Instead, he reached out and clapped his hands, easily snatching Zhao Yun from their hands. Just as the two guards were about to step forward, they heard Mu Lianfeng's cold warning, "You are no match for me. Don't ask for a snub." The two guards were stunned and turned to look at Murong Shuang. Murong Shuang glared at the two guards. "Two useless things. Father, it's this bad woman who bullied Mother. Father, quickly help Mother teach them a lesson, they are too bad." Dao complained while pretending to be Mu Lianfeng. Although he spoke in a childish voice, it was obvious that Dao was furious. "Cousin." Murong Shuang continued to pretend to be pitiful. "Cousin. I didn't mean anything by it. I didn't hurt this B*tch. She was the one who stopped me from entering the house to look for you. I thought you were hiding in her house and didn't want to see me on purpose." "That's right, cousin, look, my face was slapped by this bitch." Murong Shuang deliberately stretched out her face. At this moment, there was still a palm print on his face. However, Mu Lianfeng didn't feel the slightest bit of heartache or protection. Instead, he said sarcastically, "Disasters can be forgiven, but disasters brought on by oneself are the hardest to bear. You asked for it. If you didn't come looking for trouble, Yun wouldn't have slapped you. Also, Cousin, you are the daughter of an official. You should have learned a lot about etiquette. Don't learn from those rural women who spew profanities every time they open their mouths. Look at you now, you don't have the demeanor of an official's daughter. If uncle and aunt see you like this, they will definitely reprimand you. Murong Shuang's eyes widened and she looked at Mu Lianfeng in shock. How did her cousin become like this? Even if he was biased, he didn't have to be so biased, did he? He was completely protecting Zhao Yun, but he didn't care if she was bullied by Zhao Yun, Chapter 1988. Cousin. Sob. Do you care about her that much? You don't even care about the feelings between us for so many years. Are she and this child? Are they that important to you? Zhao Yun knew that she was asking the obvious, but she still asked anyway. Mu Lianfeng affirmed, yes, so cousin, please be careful in the future. Don't do anything to hurt them. Murong Shuang was on the verge of going crazy. She had come all the way here to declare her sovereignty in front of Zhao Yun, Now that she had Mu Lianfeng's protection and support, she was afraid that Zhao Yun would be even more insatiable and completely disregard her. Cousin, can you go back now? Mu Lianfeng looked like he was driving her away. He was afraid that if Murong Shuang continued to stay, she would do something to hurt Zhao Yun, Murong Shuang had come here to look for Mu Lianfeng. She had planned to get along with Mu Lianfeng and discuss their marriage. Now that she had been driven away, how could she say anything? Cousin. I came all the way from the capital to look for you. We haven't even had a reunion yet. Murong Shuang said, feeling wronged. What do we have to talk about? Cousin, what do you want to talk to me about? Seeing Mu Lianfeng's heartless look, Murong Shuang bit her lower lip and replied pitifully, Cousin, are you really going to treat me like this because of an outsider? Mu Lianfeng's face was expressionless. Instead, he replied with a hint of disgust, since you have nothing else to say, hurry up and leave. This is Yun's courtyard. Outsiders are not allowed to enter. No, I'm not leaving. Murong Shuang replied capriciously. Since she was young, she had been doted on by her parents. She had been the apple of their eye. She usually had everything she wanted. Everyone obeyed her. Unfortunately, when it came to Mu Lianfeng, she was repeatedly thwarted. Mu Lianfeng had never accepted her love, and now he was treating her like this. Cousin, don't be so willful. This is not your home. No one has the obligation to follow your wishes, not even me. Murong Shuang's tears flowed down her cheeks and dripped down. Cousin, I just want to look at you more. Do you know that I rushed over here these few days because of you? I didn't eat or drink well, and I've become thinner. Don't you feel sorry for me? Can you really turn a blind eye to me? Murong Shuang could not control her emotions and started to cry in front of Mu Lianfeng. Mu Lianfeng's eyes moved slightly, but they were soon replaced by a sharp look. He replied indifferently, Cousin, I'm sorry. I can't reciprocate your love. Now, I can tell you that you don't have to think about me anymore. I will never marry you in this life. I only have one woman and one wife, and that is Yun'er. If you know what's good for you, I can still take into account the friendship between us. In the future, we can still get along like before. However, if you persist in going about things the wrong way, we will be strangers from now on. We will have nothing to do with each other. After hearing Mu Lianfeng's heartless words, Murong Shuang felt her entire heart turn cold. She could see Mu Lianfeng's determination in his eyes. Murong Shuang also knew that her cousin always did what he said. Chapter 1989. As Murong Shuang spoke, she turned around and left in a huff. The two guards who were accompanying him also followed him. She had only said that in a fit of pique and wanted to test Mu Lianfeng's reaction. She originally thought that Mu Lianfeng would urge her to stay, but when she got into the carriage and left Zhao Yun's courtyard, Mu Lianfeng remained unmoved and let her leave. Murong Shuang, who was in the carriage, could not control her tears as they streamed down her cheeks. After crying for a while, Murong Shuang's eyes revealed a hint of viciousness. She was not willing to let Mu Lianfeng be snatched away by a country bumpkin just like that. What could she do to win back Mu Lianfeng's heart? Murong Shuang's heart was brewing. She might as well find a man and rape Zhao Yun. As long as Zhao Yun's body was ruined, she did not believe that her cousin would be so generous and not mind his woman being raped. With that thought, Murong Shuang fiercely gritted her teeth and prepared to carry out this plan. After Murong Shuang left, Zhao Yun's courtyard finally quieted down. Both Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were shocked. Fortunately, Mu Lianfeng had rushed back in time. Otherwise, they did not know what would have happened. If something had happened to Zhao Yun and Daodu, their third branch would not be able to bear it. Zhao Wenhua frowned and asked Zhao Yun, who was that person just now? Why did she treat you like that the moment she arrived? Did you offend her? Liang Jinxiao also patted his chest and said, yes, one look and you can tell that her background is not simple. You can't offend this kind of person. She won't come to our house to cause trouble for you next time, right? Zhao Yun naturally didn't know if Murong Shuang would come again, but she knew that this woman wouldn't give up so easily. She liked Mu Lianfeng and was so possessive. How could she let her off so easily? It was even more impossible for him to hand over Mu Lianfeng so easily. Zhao Yun guessed that this woman must be thinking of other ways to deal with her, but she didn't know what methods she would use and how to deal with her. During this period of time, she had to be careful in order to avoid any mishaps. Mu Lianfeng apologetically explained to Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao, Uncle, Auntie, that was my cousin. She's used to being willful at home. She's like this even when she's here. I'm sorry for scaring you. So she's the crown prince's cousin. Needless to say, they knew that Murong Shuang's background was not simple. No wonder she was so arrogant. After listening to the conversation between Mu Lianfeng and Murong Shuang, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were faintly worried. Since she was Murong Shuang's cousin and had feelings for Mu Lianfeng, then what about their Yun? After all, marriage in ancient times was decided by parents and matchmakers. What if the family made arrangements for the two of them and let Mu Lianfeng marry Murong Shuang? Even if Zhao Yun could marry the crown prince, she would still have to lower herself in the crown prince's residence. Zhao Yun's position in the residence would definitely not be comparable to Murong Shuang's. When the time came, she would inevitably be wronged. Unfortunately, it was useless for them to worry. They were just ordinary country folk. How could they change anything? In front of these adults, they were not even worth mentioning. Father, that bad woman is too bad. Daoda complained to Mu Lianfeng in dissatisfaction and pouted. Chapter 1990. Sob, 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 father, you didn't even teach that bad woman a lesson and avenge Daodu and mother. Daodu could not help but complain. Daodu felt that letting Murong Shuang go so easily was too easy for her. From Daodu's point of view, if someone bullied him, he had to fight back. How could he just let someone go so easily? Mu Lianfeng did not know whether to laugh or cry. He did not know how to coax Daodu. He did not hit Murong Shuang because he still remembered their sibling relationship. However, the words he said were probably enough to hurt Murong Shuang. Hurting someone did not necessarily have to hurt them physically. Stabbing them in the heart would probably hurt even more. What he said just now must have hurt Murong Shuang immensely. He did not need to do anything else, and he had already caused enough damage. Zhao Yun understood this, so she smiled at Daodu and said, Daodu, a gentleman uses his mouth and not his fists. Sometimes, you have to use your fists, understand? Your father has already helped us out. Thinking about how Mu Lianfeng had defended her and firmly expressed his stance, Zhao Yun knew how important she and her son were to Mu Lianfeng. Actually, Mu Lianfeng's words were enough. As for Murong Shuang, Mu Lianfeng did not need to be merciless. Mother, is that so? Daodu furrowed his delicate brows. Of course. Zhao Yun touched Daoda's smooth face. Daoda nodded. Mother, when Daoda grows up, he will protect you. Even if father is not around, Daoda has the ability to protect mother. Just like today, he was still too weak. He wanted to protect Zhao Yun but he did not have the ability to do so. He could only watch anxiously from the side without any room to fight back. Zhao Yun patted Daoda's face and chuckled. All right, when Daoda grows up, I will let Daoda protect mother. Yes, yes. Daoda nodded heavily. Right, mother, did those bad uncles hurt you just now? Daoda's concerned little eyes fell on Zhao Yun again. Zhao Yun shook her head. It doesn't hurt. Mother is fine. I was not hurt. Seeing Zhao Yun say that, Daoda was relieved. Yes, yes. After the commotion just now, the family of 3 finally returned to the house. Then she entered the house, but Zhao Yun still couldn't let it go. She faintly felt that something was going to happen. Unfortunately, there was no point in worrying now. He could only take one step at a time and hope that nothing major would happen. Over the past few days, nothing had happened to him. His days were very peaceful. However, old Zhao's house was noisy from time to time. Ever since Zhao Wenshui humiliated Feng Zhangxia, the first branch received the money and wanted to build a new house. When they moved out of old Zhao's house, they would not have to see Zhao Wenshui every day. Zhao Wenshui basically treated Zhao Wenshui coldly every time he saw him. Sometimes, he could not stand it and directly went up to him to give him a few punches. Zhao Wenshui could not beat Zhao Wenshui, so he could only take a beating every day. After being beaten a few times, Zhao Wenshui simply did not go out. As long as he did not go out, he would not run into Zhao Wenshui and would not be beaten. Sometimes, when he needed to go to the latrine and had to come out, he would observe carefully before sneaking out and rushing to the latrine. After he was done, he would rush back in, afraid that he would bump into Zhao Wenshui. Chapter 1991. Although he had solved the problem of food, he had not solved the problem of other things. There were no women in the family, so no one washed his clothes for him. As a man, how could he do something that only women could do? No one washed his clothes, so he took them off and threw them aside. However, they were from the countryside and did not have many clothes. After changing out of them a few times, they had no more clothes to change into. It was summer, so every night when he went to bed, he would sweat all over. After not changing his clothes for a few days, his body would start to rot, and the smell was very strange and unpleasant. Unfortunately, Zhao Wenshui still had no intention of washing his clothes himself. Instead, he started to have other thoughts. As a man, he could not do without a wife. Not to mention that there was no one to serve him every day, even if he wanted to do it every night, there was no woman by his side. After holding it in for a few days, Zhao Wenshui really could not bear it anymore. He thought of the past. Although Li Chuiying was not very good-looking, she was still a woman, and he could make do with it. Now that he had no way to do it, he could only rely on his own hands to relieve his hunger and thirst. However, it was not as comfortable as a woman. It seemed that he had to marry another woman. Zhao Wenshui thought about it. Who could he marry? Several people's faces flashed through his mind, and finally he thought of Qian Chuanxiu. Qian Chuanxiu was a widow, and she had 2 children by herself. It was definitely not easy for her to live. They had hooked up before. If it were not for the stinky woman in the family, it was not impossible for him to be with Qian Chuanxiu. Qian Chuanxiu was much better looking than Li Chuiying. When he did it, he felt a different feeling. After eating the same thing too much, he always wanted to change it. Now that he and Li Chuiying were divorced, it was equivalent to being single. It did not matter which woman he wanted to be with now, and no one could interfere. If he married Qian Chuanxiu now, no one could say anything about it. Zhao Wenshui thought that he could discuss it with Qian Chuanxiu. He would give 10 taels of silver as a betrothal gift, which was not a small amount in the countryside. Qian Chuanxiu's family was poor, so she might be willing to marry him. With that in mind, Zhao Wenshui ran to Qian Chuanxiu's house. Now that he was separated from Li Chuiying, he didn't have to hide so much and went to Qian Chuanxiu's house openly. At this time, Qian Chuanxiu was resting in the courtyard. She had not fully recovered from her previous injuries and could not do any heavy work. Fortunately, Ma Xiaofeng was able to earn some money back. Every day, she would buy delicious food to nourish her body. Compared to a few days ago, her body was much better. Xiu, the moment Zhao Wenshui arrived at Qian Chuanxiu's courtyard and saw Qian Chuanxiu, he called her affectionately. Hearing Zhao Wenshui's voice, Qian Chuanxiu frowned and looked in the direction of the voice. Why did this Zhao Wenshui come to his house again? Hadn't she suffered enough from the previous incident? Now, she wanted to harm her? Qian Chuanxiu's face was full of displeasure as she scolded. Who asked you to come over? If other people see you, they will misunderstand and gossip. Hurry up and get out of my sight. Zhao Wenshui did not get angry. Instead, he smiled fawningly and said, Xiu, why do you have such a bad temper? I finally came to see you, and you are still treating me like this. Aren't you afraid that I will be sad? Chapter 1992. Zhao Wenshui smiled embarrassedly. Xiu, that's all in the past. I didn't expect to be seen by others. Our relationship was really painful. You were punished, but I was also beaten up badly. We're all the same. Qian Chuanxiu was tricked by Zhao Wenshui once, so how could she pay attention to what Zhao Wenshui said? You deserve it. You're shameless. What did you say in the past? You were the one who seduced me, but you went against your conscience and said that I seduced you. The more Qian Chuanxiu thought about it, the angrier she became. If it weren't for Zhao Wenshui, she wouldn't have committed so many crimes. It was already a good thing that she didn't chop Zhao Wenshui with a knife, but this man still had the face to come to her. Zhao Wenshui felt that he was in the wrong, so he immediately smiled and said, Xiu, I was wrong. I apologize. I admit that I was wrong. I'll definitely make it up to you in the future. Make it up to me? What do you want to make it up to me? Zhao Wenshui, don't be so hypocritical. It's good enough that you didn't trick me, but now you want to make it up to me? Why didn't you come when I was dying? You're a beast. Qian Chuanxiu scolded mercilessly, making Zhao Wenshui a little embarrassed. As a man, Zhao Wenshui lowered his head after being scolded by Qian Chuanxiu. Fortunately, he was thick-skinned. After Qian Chuanxiu finished scolding him, Zhao Wenshui said, Xiu, I really want to make it up to you this time. Can you listen to me? Qian Chuanxiu didn't have the patience. She picked up the stick under the corner of the wall and waved it at Zhao Wenshui. Who's listening to you? What do you have to say? Get out of here, or don't blame me for being rude. Xiu, if you have a conscience, don't come to me. I've already been tortured once. If you torture me again, I'll lose my life. Xiu. Zhao Wenshui was a little anxious. Seeing that Qian Chuanxiu didn't listen to him, he was afraid that Qian Chuanxiu would drive him away, so he directly hugged Qian Chuanxiu. Zhao Wenshui coaxed Qian Chuanxiu, Xiu, just listen to me. I'll leave after I'm done, okay? Qian Chuanxiu immediately panicked. She wanted to scream, but she was afraid that her voice too loud and she would startle others. If others saw her, it would be disadvantageous to her. She didn't know what she didn't know what he wanted to do, she wanted to know what he wanted. What he wanted? You let me go. Qian Chuanxiu scolded in a low voice. Zhao Wenshui, I is Xiu. Zhao Wenshui, you bastard. You can't wait to kill me, can you? I'm telling you, I'm not finished with you. Teat. I. Can't you listen to me for a while? Qian Chuanxiu struggled a few times in Zhao Wenshui's arms, but she found that she couldn't break free. She could only agree to Zhao Wenshui. Okay. Let me go. I'll listen to you. Zhao Wenshui slowly let go of Qian Chuanxiu. However, Qian Chuanxiu's face was dark. Her eyes looked like she wanted to eat him. Zhao Wenshui, hurry up and say what you want to say. Don't dawdle. Don't let others see. Qian Chuanxiu impatiently urged him. The sooner he finished, the better. Otherwise, she would suffer again. Many people in the village passed by her house every day. Chapter 1993. Qian Chuanxiu was stunned. She didn't expect Zhao Wenshui to divorce Li Chuiying. Nowadays, it was rare for a man to divorce a woman. After all, the woman couldn't go back to her parents' home after divorcing the man. She had no one to rely on. No matter how hard life was, she had to endure it in her husband's home. How could the two of them get a divorce so easily? Although Qian Chuanxiu was curious, she didn't ask. Instead, she snorted coldly and said, Zhao Wenshui, what does your divorce have to do with me? It's been so long. Don't put the blame on me. Zhao Wenshui smiled and winked at Qian Chuanxiu. Xiu, of course it has to do with you. During this period of time, I have been thinking about how good you are, so I divorced my wife so that we can get married and be together. Xiu, I came here to tell you that I want to marry you. Let's get married, okay? Qian Chuanxiu finally understood that Zhao Wenshui came here to talk to her about this. She thought it was something else. Qian Chuanxiu spat on the ground and scolded Zhao Wenshui. Zhao Wenshui, why don't you take a piss and look at yourself? You want to marry me with your moral integrity? Do you think you're worthy of me? Zhao Wenshui didn't expect Qian Chuanxiu to reject him so straightforwardly. He felt wronged and replied, Xiu. Weren't we good at that time? Why don't you like me now? I divorced my wife because of you. You can't abandon me now, right? Qian Chuanxiu's face was cold. She looked at Zhao Wenshui with disgust. Zhao Wenshui, you still have the nerve to talk about the past. You couldn't do what you promised me. You were obviously lying to me. Otherwise, why would I like someone like you? As for your divorce with your wife, I wasn't the one who forced you to do so. Why should I be responsible for you? Zhao Wenshui's heart suddenly sank. Now, even Qian Chuanxiu didn't agree to marry him. What other woman could he find? Zhao Wenshui pondered for a while. Maybe Qian Chuanxiu thought that his family was poor, so she didn't agree. Thus, he hurriedly said to Qian Chuanxiu, Xiu, this time I'm sincere. I really want to marry you. If you marry me, I will immediately give you 10 taels of silver as a betrothal gift. That's right, my daughter is going to marry into a rich family. With her around, I'll be able to live a good life for the rest of my life. You definitely won't suffer if you follow me. Look, it's not easy for a woman to raise 2 children. It's great that you have someone to rely on now. When the time comes, I will send your son to school. I will definitely treat him well. What do you think? If Qian Chuanxiu had heard Zhao Wenhua's conditions in the past, she would have been tempted. Their family didn't have it easy these years. It was naturally good to find a reliable man to improve their family's life. However, Ma Xiaofeng had recently earned a lot of money by selling pig offal. Now that their family's situation had improved, they had a lot of money. They could live a good life on their own and have the money to send Ma Xiaoyu to school. Qian Chuanxiu flatly refused. Zhao Wenshui, you should take your money and find another woman. In any case, I can't marry you. You don't want to continue living in the village, but I do. Chapter 1994. Is it really impossible for me to get married again? Zhao Wenshui pestered Qian Chuanxiu shamelessly again. Xiu, I miss you every day. How can you be so heartless and refuse to be with me? Let's be like before, okay? I'll definitely treat you well. If you don't marry me, my wife will divorce. Do you want me to be a bachelor for the rest of my life? Qian Chuanxiu ignored Zhao Wenshui and continued to wave the stick in her hand. That's your business. Don't look for me. Now that you're done talking, get out of my house. Don't stay in my house and refuse to leave. I'm telling you, if someone sees this and misunderstands, I won't let you off. Zhao Wenshui was hit by the stick and cried out in pain. Xiu, be gentle, be gentle. Don't you feel sorry for me when you hit me? Qian Chuanxiu's face darkened. She was at her wit's end after being tormented by Zhao Wenshui, so she angrily asked, Zhao Wenshui, are you done? Are you leaving now? Zhao Wenshui could not bear to leave. With a bitter face, he said, Xiu, will you reconsider marrying me? I told you it's impossible. Don't even think about it. Get out of my house. Seeing Qian Chuanxiu's fierce look, he began to miss the past. At that time, Qian Chuanxiu was very gentle. Zhao Wenshui muttered, Xiu, you were much more gentle when I pressed you down. Why have you become like my wife now? Fierce and not feminine at all. Qian Chuanxiu was once again angered by Zhao Wenshui. Why was this man so shameless? Why did he have to mention the past in front of her? Especially this kind of thing. When she thought about how she and Zhao Wenshui had slept together in bed, Qian Chuanxiu felt as if she had eaten feces. She even felt like vomiting. Zhao Wenshui, if you keep talking nonsense to me, I'll tear your mouth apart. If you don't leave, I'm going to call for help and report you to Li Zheng, saying that you insist on pestering me and asking him to be the judge for me. Xiu. Zhao Wenshui was both afraid and reluctant. At this moment, Ma Xiaofeng rushed back from Yang City. Ma Xiaofeng's face darkened when she saw Zhao Wenshui appear in her courtyard. She thought that her mother had taken things too hard and hooked up with Zhao Wenshui. Now, it seemed that Zhao Wenshui had come to pester her. Her mother also looked unhappy and disdainful. Unfortunately, Zhao Wenshui was a thick-skinned person. He stayed in his courtyard and refused to leave. Qian Chuanxiu's temper was better, but Ma Xiaofeng was impatient. If this was seen by the people in the village, it would be terrible. Their family had already suffered enough gossip. How could they afford to suffer more? Thus, Ma Xiaofeng rushed into the room and rushed out with a knife. She stood in front of Zhao Wenshui and threatened, "Stop pestering my mother and leave. Otherwise, I'll chop you to death with this knife." Zhao Wenshui's face paled for a moment. He knew that Ma Xiaofeng definitely wouldn't dare to chop him, so he said to Ma Xiaofeng, "Little Feng, don't be rash. This is between your mother and me. I don't mean anything else." Ma Xiaofeng didn't say anything else and swung the knife in her hand. If Zhao Wenshui hadn't dodged quickly, it would have cut him. Zhao Wenshui patted his chest, still in a state of shock. This Xiao Feng girl must have gone crazy. She really slashed people. Chapter 1995. Go, go, go. Zhao Wenshui quickly ran out of Qian Chuanxiu's house. How could he not be afraid if this girl was serious? If he was accidentally cut, wouldn't he be dead? His life was not a joke. It was not worth it for a woman. As for marrying Qian Chuanxiu, he was not in a hurry. He could talk about it slowly in the future. Anyway, he could take his time. If it really didn't work, he would marry someone else. With money in hand, if no woman agreed to marry him, he would spend money to buy one back. The woman he bought and the woman he married were different. The woman he married might make a fuss about divorce, but the woman he bought could not go anywhere and could only follow him. When the time came, she would not be able to do any work and would probably be more obedient than Li Chuiying. It was just that buying a woman would cost a lot of money. If he asked old Servantya to find one, she would probably ask for 30 to 40 taels. And he only had a dozen taels left. If he really wanted to buy one, he would have to find his daughter, Zhao Jing, who had married into a rich family. If he asked her for a few more taels, he might be able to buy one. On the way back, Zhao Wenshui kept thinking about this matter. In any case, he could not be alone and be laughed at like his relative, Zhao Ping, who was a bachelor. Only with a woman could he do that at night and have someone to cook for him and wash his clothes. Because he was lost in thought, Zhao Wenshui did not see the stone under his feet. He tripped and fell to the ground, his chin heavily hitting the ground. Ouch! Zhao Wenshui cried out in pain. Then, he found that there was a bloody taste in his mouth. Zhao Wenshui quickly touched his mouth and found that one of his teeth had been knocked out. With a gentle pull of his finger, the tooth fell out of his mouth. Seeing the blood on his hand, Zhao Wenshui could not help but feel wronged and started crying. He touched his mouth again and found that it was his front tooth that had fallen out. If he turned around and opened his mouth, people would see and laugh at him. Why was he so unlucky? Everything had been going wrong recently, and he finally came to talk to Qian Chuanxiu about it. Not only was he chased away, but he even knocked out his front tooth on the way. His face was almost disfigured. He didn't have much ability to begin with, and his face was barely passable. If his face was disfigured, how could he charm other women? The pain continued to spread throughout his body. After a while, Zhao Wenshui slowly got up from the ground. How unlucky. God, can't you open your eyes a little? You'll only be happy when you see me in such a miserable state. How infuriating. Hee, what God? I think he's just a scoundrel. He must be blind. As soon as Zhao Wenshui finished speaking, he slipped again and fell heavily to the ground. Just now, he had only knocked out one of his front teeth, and it was not a serious injury. Now that he had recovered, his arm was dislocated, and he grimaced in pain. Zhao Wenshui's vision turned black, and his divine sense was somewhat blurry. Zhao Wenshui raised his hand and accidentally rubbed against someone's poop on the side of the road, and a foul smell entered his nostrils. After going through this torment, Zhao Wenshui almost collapsed. What on earth had he been through? He had not encountered any unlucky things in the past few years, but he had encountered them in one day. Now, he fell to the ground and could not move at all. He could not support himself. Chapter 1996. Because Zhao Wenshui had knocked out one of his front teeth, he had a lisp when he spoke. There was no one else on the road, so he could only lie on the ground. He hoped that someone from the village would pass by and see him so that someone could send him back. At Ma Xiaofeng's house, Qian Chuanxiu heaved a sigh of relief after seeing Zhao Wenshui leave. Ma Xiaofeng put down the knife in her hand and walked to Qian Chuanxiu. She reminded her, "Mother, don't bother with this kind of person next time. If he dares to come to our house again, just chop him to death with a knife, just like what I did today. Let's see if he dares to do it again." Qian Chuanxiu sighed and replied, "Little Feng, I understand. I won't let him come again." "Yes, Mother, our family is different now. We have to be careful. Our reputation is already bad, so we can't stand being talked about again. It's fine if it's just the two of us. It doesn't matter if others say it or not, but we have to think about Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu is ostracized by the other children in the village and is often bullied. It's not easy for her." Ma Xiaofeng felt very guilty when she thought of Ma Xiaoyu. If it weren't for her and her mother, she wouldn't have been bullied so much. Although Ma Xiaoyu didn't come back to tell her about the grievances she suffered outside, she would occasionally see it with her own eyes. "Mother knows. We've let Xiaoyu down. It's best if we earn more money in the future and move out of the village. We can buy a house somewhere else where no one knows us and there won't be those rumors." Qian Chuanxiu sighed. Ma Xiaofeng happened to have this plan. Ma Xiaofeng wanted to buy a small residence in Yang City. It didn't need to be big, just 2 or 3 rooms would do. Not only would it be convenient for business, but she could also send Ma Xiaoyu to school to study. In this era, only by studying could one succeed and get their family out of this predicament. Of course, the most important thing was to leave the village and not be mocked by others. Mother, we've slowly accumulated some money now. Although a house in Yang City is very expensive, we'll definitely be able to afford it in a few years. Yes, maybe it won't even take a few years. Why not a few years? Qian Chuanxiu asked curiously. Ma Xiaofeng explained, Mother, it's Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan who want to open a restaurant in Yang City. When the time comes, they'll bring me along and give me shares. However, I won't be able to pay that much for the restaurant. The dividends might be lower, but it'll definitely be more profitable than setting up a stall in Yang City. Hearing about opening a restaurant, Qian Chuanxiu immediately became excited. She had also heard of the big restaurants in Sun City. Opening a restaurant was very profitable, and many of them were eaten by the rich. As long as it was done well and the business was good, there was no need to worry about not making money. If he set up a stall, he would at most earn a few taels of silver a day. If he opened a restaurant, it was not impossible for him to earn a few hundred taels of silver a day. After the dividends were distributed, it was indeed quite a lot. 2 or 3 large houses in Yang City cost around 1 to 200 taels. With the money earned from the restaurant's dividends, it wouldn't take long for them to be bought. Qian Chuanxiu happily muttered, Good, 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 this is good. Opening a restaurant will make a lot of money. I hope to earn more. Yes, yes. Oh right, Xiaofeng, opening a restaurant requires a lot of money. Where did Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan get so much money to open a restaurant? Qian Chuanxiu's eyes were filled with confusion. Chapter 1997. Qian Chuanxiu opened her mouth. Why would Zhao Ping's aunt, Zhao Xinhui, give money to the couple to open a restaurant? Although Qian Chuanxiu didn't know the reason, she didn't ask too much. Because the reason had nothing to do with her. As long as the restaurant was open and they could make money, everything would be fine. Well, you should look for it as soon as possible. Once you find it, open it quickly. Mother can also benefit from it. Qian Chuanxiu said expectantly. Since Ma Xiaofeng was involved in opening the restaurant, their family naturally had a share in the restaurant. She could boast in the village that her daughter was capable and now opened a restaurant. Ma Xiaofeng nodded in response. Got it, Mother. We're also looking for it now. We've found a few that we like. After negotiating the price, it should be enough. That's good, that's good. Thinking of this, Qian Chuanxiu's heart surged with happiness. Her life was getting better and better. Although she had suffered from those disasters and those rumors, her material conditions had greatly improved. Ma Xiaofeng suddenly thought of Zhao Wenshui's visit today. She didn't know why, so she asked a few questions. Mother, why did Zhao Wenshui suddenly come over and pester you today? Qian Chuanxiu answered truthfully. He said that he divorced and wanted to marry me. He gave me 10 taels of silver as a betrothal gift and sent Xiaoyu to school in the future. Ma Xiaofeng snorted softly. Who does he think he is? Who cares about his money? Mother, he caused you so much trouble in the past. Don't agree. Qian Chuanxiu held Ma Xiaofeng's hand and said, Don't worry, Mother is not stupid. How can I agree? We don't care about his money now. Yes, it's only 10 taels of silver. Who cares about it? We don't lack money now. But Mother, I'm not against you getting married, but if you want to get married, you have to choose a reliable man. Don't just casually pick someone, especially someone like Zhao Wenshui. Qian Chuanxiu's heart was touched. She held Ma Xiaofeng's hand and said, Xiaofeng, Mother is already so old. I won't marry again. Don't worry, Mother will only protect you and Xiaoyu. Mother, how can that do? We didn't have a choice before. Now that we can live well, we have to think about ourselves. If we meet a good man, we can marry him. Ma Xiaofeng said with a frown. She knew very well that her mother was not very old. She was in her 30s or 40s. Women in their 30s were like wolves and in their 40s were like tigers. Although her mother didn't say it, nor did she mention it, Ma Xiaofeng knew in her heart that when her mother grew old, she would need a companion and someone to rely on. Ah, Xiaofeng, mother doesn't want to get married. I only want to protect you and Xiaoyu for the rest of my life. Aren't we living well now? Ma Xiaofeng pursed her lips. Yes, it is. But mother, if you want to get married one day, don't think about me and Xiaoyu. You have to think about yourself too. Qian Chuanxiu sighed heavily and looked at Ma Xiaofeng with heartache. Xiaofeng, don't talk about mother. You have to think about yourself. How about after we buy a house in Yang City and no one recognizes us, mother will help you find a matchmaker, Xuan. Chapter 1998. Okay. I won't rush you. You can do whatever you want, as long as you're happy. Qian Chuanxiu only felt sorry for Ma Xiaofeng. She knew that with her daughter's current condition, it would not be easy for her to find a good man. She just hoped that a miracle would happen in the future. The mother and daughter chatted for a while before entering the house. As for Zhao Wenshui, he lay on the ground for a long time without seeing anyone pass by. What the hell? Was there no one walking around the village at this time? Why was there not even a shadow of a ghost? It was really strange. Unfortunately, the pain in his body had only dissipated a little. Not only was his arm dislocated, but when he rolled up his trousers, he saw that the skin on his leg was also scraped. No wonder he could not get up despite the pain. Just as Zhao Wenshui was heartbroken and wanted to curse the heavens again, Zhao Ping passed by the roadside with a load of firewood. Zhao Wenshui saw Zhao Ping from afar and shouted excitedly, "Zhao Ping, Zhao Ping." His voice was still a little sluggish. Because he spoke in a hurry, saliva mixed with blood spurted out of Zhao Wenshui's mouth. Zhao Ping looked up and saw Zhao Ping on the ground. Because a tooth was knocked out, Zhao Wenshui's face was covered in blood. He looked like he had suffered a lot. Zhao Ping's heart tightened. He rushed to Zhao Wenshui and asked Zhao Wenshui, "Brother Wenshui, what happened to you? Did someone beat you up?" Zhao Wenshui put on a bitter face and said sadly, "It's not, then what happened? You're hurt like this?" Zhao Ping asked. Zhao Wenshui did not know how to answer for a moment. If he said that he accidentally fell down, wouldn't it be even more embarrassing? There was no one in the entire village like him who could make someone fall so miserably while walking. If word got out, people would probably laugh at him for having eyes on the top of his head. Or perhaps he was blind and had wasted his eyes. Zhao Wenshui quickly changed the topic and begged Zhao Wenshui, "It's nothing. Zhao Ping, I'm in so much pain that I can't get up, and my hand is dislocated. Can you send me back?" Zhao Ping hurriedly replied, Good. Brother Wenshui, I'm coming." With that, Zhao Ping helped Zhao Wenshui up from the ground. He accidentally touched Zhao Wenshui's arm, and Zhao Wenshui screamed in pain. "Zhao Ping, be gentle. You're hurting me." Zhao Ping said somewhat embarrassedly, "That. Brother Wenshui, I'm sorry. I didn't notice that I was a bit heavy-handed. Are you all right?" "I'm about to die from the pain, how can I be fine?" Zhao Wenshui complained, feeling that Zhao Ping was doing it on purpose. He clearly saw that he was injured like this. Why couldn't he be gentler? Why did he have to be so forceful? "Brother Wenshui, just bear with it. You'll be fine after we call a doctor to check on you," Zhao Ping comforted him. However, Zhao Wenshui's reaction was a bit too exaggerated. He was a grown man. If he was injured, so be it. There was no need to open his mouth and complain about the pain. He saw that many men's arms were broken, but they did not make a sound. What bad luck. Zhao Wenshui muttered a few words and spat out a mouthful of blood. Zhao Ping had to help Zhao Wenshui walk, but he also had to be careful not to hurt him. The two of them moved very slowly, and it took a while for them to reach old Zhao's courtyard. Chapter 1999. Zhao Yun came to old Zhao's house to discuss the preparation of the banquet with Feng Zhangxia. They were waiting for Zhao Tianhu's wedding preparations. Now that Zhao Tianhu's wedding was almost done, he would go to the bride's house to pick Jianghu up in 2 days. During these days, the first branch's people had made some preparations. Zhao Tianhu's wedding room had also been prepared, so the conditions for picking up the bride were naturally ripe. Zhao Tianhu was also at the side with a shy face. After so many days, he had been looking forward to marrying Jianghu. Now, his wish had finally been fulfilled. Now, as long as he thought about having a wife, Zhao Tianhu was extremely excited. Feng Zhangxia was also very concerned about her son's wedding. As long as Zhao Yun told her what she needed, she would carefully remember it. Yun, girl, do you need anything else? Think about it, don't leave anything behind. Otherwise, it would be troublesome to make another trip to town. Zhao Yun shook her head, no, just buy according to these. Okay then. Feng Zhangxia calculated in her heart. Buying these things and arranging them would cost a total of 3 taels of silver. After all, there were also things to give to the bride's side. Marrying a wife was not an easy thing, and the expenses were very high. Fortunately, she had gotten 15 taels of silver from Zhao Wenshui. With this money, she would be richer. Originally, she had planned to build a house, but now she thought about it and decided not to. Building a house was not a small expense. Although she did not have to see Zhao Wenshui every day, it made her family's life difficult. Now, there was not much time before Zhao Tianlong's examination. Once Zhao Tianlong passed the examination, he would be able to become an official. At that time, they would not need to live in the shabby house in the countryside. They would definitely move together to a big house in the city. In this way, it would be a waste to build a separate house in the countryside. It was better to use the silver to buy more delicious food during this period of time to improve the quality of life at home. When they were almost done discussing, they heard Zhao Wenshui's cries from afar. When he looked towards the entrance of the courtyard, he saw that Zhao Wenshui had returned with injuries all over his body. He looked extremely miserable. He didn't know if Zhao Wenshui had been beaten up or something. However, no one in old Zhao's family cared about Zhao Wenshui even though he was badly injured. They all knew that Zhao Wenshui was a bastard. He deserved it no matter how much pain he suffered. Feng Zhangxia glanced at Zhao Wenshui and saw that one of Zhao Wenshui's teeth was knocked out. She was angry and disgusted at the sight of Zhao Wenshui, so she pretended to care about him and asked, "Hey, second brother, what happened to you? Who beat you so hard? Could it be that you've offended someone again by running out?" Zhao Wenshui was in so much pain that he did not have the strength to speak. Of course, he did not want to speak. Zhao Ping explained, "Sister-in-law, I saw brother Wenshui's injuries on the way here. I don't know what happened. It seems like his teeth are knocked out, his arm is dislocated, and there are scars on his legs. It's really tragic. Why don't you help him into the house? Also, help him find a doctor to take a look at him. These injuries have to be treated properly, otherwise, it will be serious." Old Zhao's family was gloating over Zhao Wenshui's injuries. They were too happy to care about him. After all, his life and death had nothing to do with them. Chapter 2000. Zhao Ping frowned and said worriedly, "But sister-in-law, brother Wenshui's injury is really serious. If it's not treated properly, the wound will fester and it may even harm his life. His hand is also dislocated. We have to call a doctor to reattach it as soon as possible. Otherwise, what if his hand is damaged and he can't use it?" Feng Zhangxia snorted and said, "Zhao Ping, why did you care about him? He must have suffered the consequences of his own actions. He deserves it. We don't have the obligation to care about him." But Zhao Ping frowned and glanced at Zhao Wenshui, then at Feng Zhangxia. He sighed and said, "Don't you care about brother Wenshui now? Zhao Ping, don't drag us down with you. We don't have the time or energy to care about him, Feng Zhangxie said and turned to enter the house, not giving Zhao Ping a chance to continue. Zhao Yuner almost laughed when she saw Zhao Wenshui like this. She was very curious about who would get rid of a scourge for the people and beat up Zhao Wenshui like this. Zhao Tianhu originally wanted to help Zhao Wenshui and call a doctor for Zhao Wenshui. However, after Feng Zhangxie saw through Zhao Tianhu's thoughts, she shouted at Zhao Tianhu, "Tianhu, what are you doing outside? Come in quickly. I still have to discuss with you what happened on your wedding day." Zhao Tianhu glanced at Zhao Wenshui, then sighed and silently entered the house. Zhao Ping frowned. He was very curious about what was wrong with old Zhao's family. Zhao Wenshui was injured like this, so why were they so indifferent? "Brother Wenshui, I still have something to do and I have to go back. I have to help someone with the work later. I'm afraid I won't be able to make it. Can you see if anyone in your family can take care of you?" Zhao Ping asked Zhao Wenshui. He had originally planned to only send Zhao Wenshui back. He had other things to do, so how could he care so much? Unfortunately, when he arrived at old Zhao's house, he encountered such a situation. Zhao Wenshui stuttered, You call my father and my mother." He had knocked out a tooth and injured his mouth. If he spoke a little louder, his mouth would hurt badly. Zhao Ping replied, "All right, I'll shout." "Yes." Zhao Ping shouted towards old Zhao's courtyard, "Second uncle, second aunt, are you home? Can you come out for a while?" After hearing Zhao Ping's voice, Hu Chunhua poked her head out of the house. "What are you doing?" "Second aunt, brother Wenshui is injured. Quickly come out and take a look. Get a doctor for him. I have to go now. Take good care of her." When Hu Chunhua heard this, she glanced at Zhao Wenshui who was beside Zhao Ping. It would have been better if she hadn't seen him, but she was shocked when she saw him. Zhao Wenshui didn't look like a human at all. He looked like a ghost. Although she didn't like Zhao Wenshui, she couldn't bear to see Zhao Wenshui being bullied like this. Hu Chunhua immediately yelled at the top of her voice, "I say, Lao Air, what happened to you? You look like a ghost." Zhao Ping hurriedly said, "Second aunt, don't ask so much. Get a doctor for brother Wenshui first and treat his injury." Chapter 2001. However, Zhao Wenshui dilly-dallied and did not say anything. Hu Chunhua immediately became anxious and urged him, "Don't be like a dead man. Hurry up and tell me. Once you tell me, I'll go ask for the money. Otherwise, they won't admit it if you drag it on too long. I'd like to see which savage bastard hit me so hard. If he knows how to hit someone, then he should know the consequences." Zhao Wenshui's face was bitter. How was he supposed to answer this? Could he say that the arrogant bastard was himself? His mother was really too much. She had not even figured it out and was already secretly scolding him. "Mother. My mouth hurts." Zhao Wenshui pointed at his bloody mouth with his other hand that was not dislocated. Hu Chunhua said somewhat angrily, "So what if your mouth hurts? Can't you say a name?" "Mother. It wasn't someone else who did it. I fell down myself," Zhao Wenshui said with a lisp. His teeth had fallen out and he was leaking air too much. Hu Chunhua's face darkened for a moment. She muttered loudly, "What? Did you fall on your own? Oh my God, Wenshui, you're really interesting. How could you fall down like this? We can't find a talent like you in our entire village." Zhao Wenshui naturally knew that Hu Chunhua was being sarcastic. He replied pitifully, "Mother, I'm already like this. You don't feel sorry for me, but you keep blaming me." Hu Chunhua spat on the ground. "If you were beaten up like this by someone else, it wouldn't hurt to feel sorry for you. But Wenshui, what's there to feel sorry for when you fell down yourself like this? It's all your fault for not having good eyesight. You're worse than a blind person with a pair of eyes. Even a blind person is not as stupid as you." After being scolded by Hu Chunhua, Zhao Wenshui felt like he had lost all face. In any case, he was a man. How could his mother treat him like a child and scold him? Really? Zhao Ping, who was listening from the side, felt a little awkward. He pursed his lips and said to Hu Chunhua, sister-in-law, don't scold brother Wenshui anymore. He's seriously injured now. It's better to let him go back and rest well. After that, we'll invite a doctor over to take a look. Hu Chunhua glanced at Zhao Wenshui and replied grumpily, who cares about him? It's better for a useless thing to die in the house. It's so annoying to look at him. Mother. Zhao Wenshui called out. If his mother didn't care about him, then who would care about him? Hu Chunhua turned around and went back into the house. Zhao Ping was stunned. From the looks of it, could it be that Hu Chunhua was ignoring Zhao Wenshui? Was she really not going to play with Zhao Wenshui's life and death? After all, she was Zhao Wenshui's mother. Why did the whole family become so strange? Zhao Wenshui was injured like this, but no one was worried about him. No one came out to help. He shouted a few more times, but still, no one came out. Zhao Ping was a little helpless. He had to send Zhao Wenshui into the house. However, he really couldn't find a doctor. He said to Zhao Wenshui apologetically, Brother Wenshui, wait and see if anyone in your family can help you find a doctor. If not, I'll help you call Dr. Sun when I come back from work. I really can't spare the time now. Zhao Wenshui responded sadly. He had never been as desperate as he was now. It was really sad that the whole family was like this. Chapter 2002. Seeing that Zhao Ping was leaving, Zhao Yun caught up with Zhao Ping since it was on the way. Zhao Ping smiled at Zhao Yun. Yun, you're here too. Yeah. Zhao Yun responded. How's the kitten I sent to you now? Is it alive? Zhao Ping was a little concerned about the kitten's life. The cubs that he had at home were almost all dead. There was no other way. If the old cat didn't have food, it wouldn't have milk. How could the little cub survive? Zhao Yun responded, yeah, it's well now. It's a lot fatter than before. Zhao Ping's face was filled with relief. He smiled and said, that's good, that's good. That's right. Zhao Ping voiced out the doubts in his heart. Yun, a girl, do you know what happened between your grandmother, your aunt, and your second uncle? Why is it that your second uncle is so badly injured, but the whole family doesn't care about him at all? Speaking of this, Zhao Yun smiled and said, Uncle Zhao, if it weren't for you, no one would care about my second uncle's life or death. Zhao Ping was even more puzzled. Why is that? Zhao Yun told Zhao Ping about Zhao Wenshui's matter. Although family scandals shouldn't be aired in public, Zhao Yun knew that Zhao Ping was very tight-lipped. As a man, he wasn't like those women who liked to gossip. After hearing Zhao Yun's words, Zhao Ping opened his mouth and sighed. He was wondering why Feng Zhangxia was so hostile to Zhao Wenshui. Most people wouldn't like Zhao Wenshui. How could he do such a thing? It turned out that this was the reason why Li Chuiying and Zhao Wenshui divorced. Zhao Ping cursed in a low voice, so he's really worse than a beast. Looking at Zhao Ping's behavior, he knew that he was a righteous person. When others were in trouble, he did not hesitate to help. He was really a good man. Zhao Yun'er smiled and said, so, Uncle Zhao, next time you don't have to care about his life or death. As the saying goes, good deeds have good karma, and evil deeds have evil karma. What he ate today is the cause he planted in the past. Zhao Ping felt that Zhao Yun'er's words were very reasonable. No wonder Zhao Wenshui could fall like this. It seemed that God had deliberately punished him. Yes, yes. Yun'er girl, I understand. I won't interfere in this matter in the future. Zhao Yun'er nodded, and the two of them went their separate ways. The weather had become much hotter in the past few days, and it had officially entered the scorching summer. In order to sleep better at night, Zhao Yun'er would make some ice cubes every day and put them in the room to cool down. It was indeed more comfortable at night. During this time, she had also made a lot of iced sweet soup. The family did not eat much, but everyone would drink a lot of iced sweet soup. However, if they were not careful, they would easily have diarrhea. Zhao Yun'er had to watch them every day and chase after them to remind them. Only then did they control themselves a little. Especially Liang Jinxiao. After all, she was pregnant, so Zhao Yun'er did not dare to let her eat food that was too cold. Soon, it was the big day of Zhao Tianhu's wedding. The people of the first branch were very generous and arranged a very grand ceremony. They specially rented a sedan chair and spent a few hundred copper coins to bring them back. The people were all recruited from the village. There were more than a dozen people in the wedding procession, and several of old Zhao's uncles and nephews were all present. Zhao Wenhua and Zhao Wentao directly became the sedan bearers. The two of them carried the sedan chair, and it was more than enough to carry Jianghu. Chapter 2003. This way, they could save the first branch's wages. If they found someone else to carry the sedan chair, they would have to pay at least a few dozen copper coins. Later, they would ask the first branch to give the two brothers more wine to drink. They were a family, and it was Zhao Tianhu's big day. Naturally, they wouldn't care so much. Zhao Tianhu was wearing a bright red wedding dress. Feng Zhangxia had specially brought Zhao Tianhu to the town to make this wedding dress. Originally, she was reluctant to make this wedding dress for Zhao Tianhu. Later, after she received the 15 taels of silver from Zhao Wenshui, she happened to have some money in her hands. Thus, she gritted her teeth and decided to hold a grand wedding. She spent nearly 1 tael of silver to make this wedding dress. As the saying goes, people rely on clothes, and Buddha relies on gold. Usually, Zhao Tianhu wore coarse clothes and didn't feel very handsome. This time, after changing into a wedding dress and dressing up a little, his entire spirit was completely different. He looked extraordinarily handsome. Among the young men in the village, he was definitely outstanding in appearance. Zhao Yun'er stared at Zhao Tianhu a few more times and revealed a satisfied expression. Zhao Tianhu was a little embarrassed by Zhao Yun'er's gaze. He asked Zhao Yun'er, younger sister Yun'er, why do you keep staring at me? What's so good about me? Zhao Yun'er teased, isn't that so? Second cousin is so handsome today. How can I not look at you a few more times? If you ask me, second cousin is going to pick up the bride like this, the bride will definitely be infatuated. Zhao Tianhu was originally a thin-skinned person. After being praised by Zhao Yun'er, his ears turned red. He lowered his head and said, younger sister Yun'er, don't tease me. How can I be considered handsome? Compared to Shiziyi, it's like heaven and earth. I can't compare at all. There's no need to compare with Shiziyi. Second cousin is indeed handsome compared to the other men in the village. Eldest aunt, fourth aunt, don't you think so? Both of them chuckled and replied, yes, 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 of course. My Tianhu has never been so handsome. It seems that it's because he doesn't dress up on weekdays. It's not bad to dress up a little. Yes, our old Zhao's children are the best in appearance in the village. Mother, fourth aunt. Feng Zhangxia and Qian Hongzhao's words made Zhao Tianhu even more. Feng Zhangxia patted Zhao Tianhu's shoulder and said, all right, bridegroom, if you're ready, then set off quickly. Don't miss the auspicious hour. Zhao Tianhu blushed as he responded, but in his heart, he was looking forward to bringing the bride back soon. Today's Zhao Yun's SSE heard that the bride's day was the most beautiful day in a woman's life. At this moment, he couldn't wait to see Jianghu as soon as possible. He wanted to see how she dressed up. Mother, I'm going. Zhao Tianhu waved his hand and walked out of the room. The other people in the wedding procession were walking, but Zhao Tianhu was riding a horse. This horse was borrowed from Mu Lianfeng as they had discussed before. When they were young, they rode a horse to pick up the bride. This was something that only rich families would do. Zhao Tianhu could ride a horse to pick up the bride this time. Naturally, he had earned more face. Feng Zhangxia looked at the handsome back on the horse, and her mouth hooked up with a satisfied smile. It was estimated that after today, many people in the village would envy the first branch. Feng Qingxia's vanity was greatly satisfied. Chapter 2004. Zhao Tianhu originally didn't know how to ride a horse, but for today's wedding, he had been practicing under Mu Lianfeng's guidance. Although his skills weren't that good, it wasn't a problem for him to use it for the wedding. The rest of the people followed behind the palanquin. Soon, the group of people left the village and rushed towards the bride's village. Old Zhao's family didn't fall behind either. Zhao Yun went into the kitchen and started preparing. She was once again in charge of the banquet. This time, there were still many guests attending the banquet. Even Shen Pan's parents and the first branch's in-laws came to celebrate. After all, it was Zhao Tianhu's wedding. It would be too distant if they didn't attend such a joyous occasion that concerned the first branch. The Shen family wasn't very willing to live in such a remote place. After arriving and seeing the situation of old Zhao's family, they felt even more distressed for their son and daughter who had to suffer in such a place. Fortunately, Zhao Tianlong had taken the imperial examination this year. The probability of him passing the imperial examination was very high. They also waited until the clouds parted to see the moon. The bitter days would soon come to an end. Once Shen Pan became the wife of an official, she naturally wouldn't have to suffer in such a remote place. In addition to bringing money as a gift, the Shen family was very generous and brought a lot of good things. Of course, most of them were for their daughter. Since they couldn't eat well in the countryside, they brought some of Shen Pan's and Zhao Yangyang's favorite snacks. There were pastries, candied fruits, beef jerky, peanuts, and other things. The carriage stopped outside old Zhao's courtyard. The villagers rarely saw such a grand carriage, so they began to talk about it. What kind of important person came to old Zhao's family? Who knows? Old Zhao's family knows too many rich people. They even have a relationship with the Shitzi. What's so strange about the rest? That's true. Sigh, old Zhao's family now is different from before. Everyone in the Shitzi branch got lucky and suddenly became rich. Didn't I say that it's because the ancestral tomb was well repaired and blessed by the old ancestor in heaven? Otherwise, how could it be like this? As soon as she heard about the matter of repairing the ancestral grave, Hu Shi, who had come to join in the fun, was a little unhappy. They had also built ancestral tombs, but why hadn't their branch prospered like Zhao Baoshan's branch? Madame Hu pushed Zhao Baojun angrily. Zhao Baojun staggered and almost fell to the ground. She unhappily said to Hu Shi, "I say, woman, why did you push me? I almost fell because of you. I'm already so old. If I fall on the ground, my bones will be scattered by you. Aren't you afraid of killing me?" Madame Hu coldly snorted, "You deserve it if you fall to your death." Zhao Baojun was a little annoyed. "I say, you old woman, what are you doing? Why are you throwing a tantrum at me for no reason? When did I offend you? You're always provoking me. Just looking at you makes me angry. It's all your fault, you useless thing. You're definitely not favored by the old ancestor. Look at the children of second brother's branch, they're all so rich. Our branch didn't get any benefits at all. The old ancestor didn't bless us at all." Zhao Baojun increasingly felt that Hu Shi was looking for trouble. She was baffling. Chapter 2005. Madame Hu felt very uncomfortable in her heart, so she made an example of Zhao Baojun. Regardless of whether what he said was right or not, she would feel better if she found fault with him. How can it not be your fault? It must be because you weren't filial to your elders in the past and weren't liked by them. After they died, they didn't remember to bless you. Because of that, our branch didn't get any benefits after building the tomb. Look, your second son's branch has all become rich. When Jianghu got married, he had a big bridal sedan and even rode a horse. He had earned a lot of prestige. Tell me, in comparison, don't you think our branch is too shabby? Madame Hu said angrily. She was very envious of old Zhao's family. Zhao Baojun felt a little uncomfortable when he heard this. The second branch was rich now. What could he do? Even if he was envious and jealous, what was the use? In any case, it couldn't be blamed on him. Instead of being envious of others, it was better to think about how their branch could become rich. You old woman, I think you're just looking for trouble. You have to push the blame to me. Didn't our third and fourth branches also build tombs? I didn't see them become rich. Really? Zhao Baojun replied in dissatisfaction. Madame Hu wanted to make a fuss, but Zhao Baojun's words stopped her. Don't make a fuss. It was originally fine, but because of your fuss, we became a joke to others. Madame Hu looked around and saw that many people's eyes fell on her. Some of them even covered their mouths and secretly laughed. Only then did Madame Hu shut her mouth resentfully. At this time, a few people came out of the carriage parked in front of old Zhao's house. They were Shen Pan's family. There was a middle-aged man in his 40s and a woman in her 40s. However, because their family was rich, the two of them were dressed luxuriously and had a very different temperament from the country people. Especially Shen Pan's mother, Madame Yang. Compared to Feng Zhangxia, Madame Yang was well dressed. Her clothes and jewelry were not bad, and she probably had rouge on her face. She looked very young, and there were no wrinkles on her face. She still looked pretty. The people in the courtyard saw this, especially the men. They stared at Madame Yang with a hint of amazement in their eyes. They thought that rich people were indeed rich people. If their wives could dress up like this, it would be great. Every day when they went home, they would see a beautiful woman and not an old woman. Madame Yang ignored these people and walked towards old Zhao's courtyard with Shen Pan's father, Shen Wan. The coachman behind them carried some boxes filled with gifts. Sister-in-law, your in-laws are here. Why don't you hurry up and entertain them? Xian Zans saw them and hurriedly greeted Feng Zhangxia. What? My in-laws are here? Feng Zhangxia, who was still busy in the kitchen, suddenly stopped what she was doing. Yes, he's in the courtyard. Get out of here. All right. Feng Zhangxia was a little excited. She quickly wiped her hands with a rag and rushed into the courtyard. As soon as she saw the Shen family, she immediately put on a smile. Ah, in-laws, you're here. It's so troublesome to come all the way here. Of course, Feng Zhangxia was just being polite. In her heart, she was looking forward to the Shen family's arrival. Not to mention other things, they would definitely bring some gifts. They would also give Zhao Tianhu's wedding gift. Chapter 2006. This way, their family would naturally make a profit. Thinking of the good things and money, Feng Zhangxia's smile widened. The Shen family also replied politely, Tianlong's younger brother is getting married. This is a joyous occasion for your family. As in-laws, how can we not come? Madame Yang also replied, yes, it's a joyous occasion for your family. As in-laws, we naturally have to come and join in the fun. We haven't seen Pan and Yang for a while. This time, we can also take a look at them. Feng Zhangxia laughed and replied, that's good, that's good. Pan and Yang are always talking about you at home. Yes. Madame Yang replied. However, she snorted coldly in her heart. With old Zhao's current condition, her daughter and grandson were suffering. How could they not talk about them? Especially Yang. Such a young child had to eat more delicious food to nourish his body and grow taller and fatter. She saw that the children from the poor families were not as fair and tender. They were far from being comparable to the children from the rich families. Feng Zhangxia hurriedly invited Shen Wan and Madame Yang into the house to sit. Then, she poured 2 cups of cold water and said, "In-laws, you must be tired from the journey. Drink some water first." "Okay." Madame Yang took the cup, but she frowned in disgust. The things used by the villagers were shabby, so they were a little dirty. Madame Yang was a clean person and was a little obsessed with cleanliness. Therefore, she looked at the cup that Feng Zhangxia handed her with disdain. However, she was indeed a little thirsty. Madame Yang took out her handkerchief and wiped the cup before reluctantly drinking the water inside. Feng Zhangxia looked at them awkwardly. She was not a fool. How could she not see that Madame Yang was disdainful of her family? However, she could not say it out loud. Who asked them to be from a rich family? They were very particular about the things they used. It was normal for them to look down on the things that the villagers used. After comparing, Feng Zhangxia hoped that Zhao Tianlong would be able to stand out and become a high-ranking official in the future. Then, her life would be more particular. "In-laws, please take a seat first. Pan, and Yang are both in the room." "I'll go call them out," Feng Zhangxia said. Madame Yang smiled and nodded. "All right, then I'll have to trouble you, in-law." I'm fine." Feng Zhangxia hurriedly waved her hand. She then went to Shen Pan's room and greeted her. "Pan, your parents are here. Let's go out and have a chat." When Shen Pan heard this, she replied excitedly, "Okay." Then, she carried Zhao Yang out of the room. Seeing this family's daughter and grandson, Shen Wan and Madame Yang immediately smiled. The family sat together and chatted. Seeing that Zhao Yang was closer to Madame Yang than to her, Feng Zhangxia felt a little uncomfortable. Zhao Yang's surname was Zhao, and he was her biological grandson. Logically speaking, he should be closer to her. After all, he had only spent a little more time with her on a daily basis. Most people's grandchildren and the elders of the bride's family were a little more distant. Only their family was a little abnormal. Thinking about it, it was because the Shen family was rich and the Zhao family was poor. Zhao Yang's snacks were all bought by the Shen family. Children were gluttons. Wouldn't they nag at whoever bought the most? Chapter 2007. In-laws, please take a seat first. I still have to go to the kitchen and prepare for the banquet. Feng Zhangxia pursed her lips and said. The Shens nodded. Yes, my dear in-laws, please go ahead. We don't have anything to entertain you here. Okay. Feng Zhangxia smiled and went out of the house. She went back to the kitchen to prepare for the banquet. The kitchen was bustling with activity as she cut the vegetables and prepared the side dishes. They were just waiting for the bridegroom to bring the bride back and then they could prepare for the banquet. Zhao Yun and Liang Jinxiao came to help with the wedding today. Liang Jinxiao helped. Because she was pregnant, Zhao Yun did not dare to let her be too busy, so she washed the vegetables. After a while, more and more people came. The weather was hot and the men worked in the fields in the morning. At 8 or 9 o'clock, when the sun came out, they would be sweating just by doing a little work. At this time, they could not do much work. After resting at home for a while, they all went to old Zhao's house to watch the show. At this time, the bridegroom's procession had arrived at Jianghu's village. The wedding of Jianghu's daughter was also very lively. However, Mrs. Zhou did not treat Jianghu very well usually. Everyone in the village was afraid that Mrs. Zhou, as a stepmother, would mistreat Jianghu in the wedding. Therefore, many people in the village came to watch the show. They wanted to see what kind of family the bridegroom was and whether the marriage for Jianghu was good. Mrs. Zhou also knew that it was difficult to be a stepmother. If today's wedding was not respectable enough, there would be gossip about her in the village. They would say that she was heartless and mistreated her stepdaughter. Although she did not care much about what others said, it did not feel good to be criticized wherever she went. Who did not want to have a good reputation? Jianghu helped with a lot of work at home. If you mistreated Jianghu in the wedding, you would really be criticized. Compared to directly bringing Jianghu to others, earning temporary benefits and ruining her reputation, Mrs. Zhou was more farsighted. If he married Jianghu to a good family, wouldn't she also be able to enjoy a good life in the future? Although Jianghu was not her daughter, she was the daughter of her father. During the holidays, if Jianghu missed her father, she would send some money and good things back. These things would also fall into her hands. Zhou Damei, you said before that you helped Jianghu find a good husband. Is that true or false? In the courtyard of the Jin family, a woman in her 40s or 50s shouted at Zhou Damei. Zhou Damei's face sank. She knew that these people deliberately said this to see if it was true or not. If the in-laws who came today were not good, these people would definitely seize the opportunity to scold them. Of course it's true. My family's Jew is very satisfied. Even if it's not good, she'll still say it's good. Zhou Damei replied. He directly pushed the matter of finding a husband to Jianghu, saying that Jianghu was willing to do it. In this way, no one could say anything. Zhou Damei, we all know that you usually don't like Jew the most. This time, you're in a good mood and let her choose her own husband. Someone mocked. Chapter 2008. Everyone laughed for a moment. All right. Zhou Damei, don't pretend in front of us. We all know how you treat Jew. It's not something you can say with just a few words. Zhou Damei said angrily, you gossipy old women, you haven't even seen the person coming to pick up the bride, and you're already talking about Jew's in-laws. Can't we talk about it after we see them? Okay, let's wait and see. It should be soon. The people in the courtyard were waiting. If the person coming to pick up the bride was not good, there would be people talking about Zhou Damei. Zhou Damei turned and entered the house, afraid that she would hear the gossips of those gossipy old women in the courtyard. At this time, Jianghu had already dressed up and was sitting in front of the stool. She was wearing a wedding dress and dressed up a little. She could be regarded as a beautiful woman. The main thing was that she had a good foundation and looked delicate. Zhou Damei's eyes suddenly lit up, and she praised Jianghu. Ah, Jew, girl, you're dressed up so well today. You're not worse than those rich young ladies in the town. Being praised like this, especially by Zhou Damei, it was rare to hear praise from her mouth. Jianghu's face slightly blushed. Mother. Where am I good looking? Good looking, of course you're good looking. You're much prettier than the other girls in the village. If the bridegroom sees this, he'll be infatuated with you tonight and kneel under your pomegranate skirt. Zhou Damei said directly. Jianghu also understood what she meant, and her face blushed even more. Zhou Damei smiled. Jew, girl, what's there to be embarrassed about? You're getting married today. This kind of adult thing must be experienced. Jianghu shyly responded, and her face blushed even more. Zhou Damei took Jianghu's hand and sighed. Jew, girl, seeing you get married and being able to marry into a good family, my conscience is happy for you. Although I'm not your biological mother, you're also not my biological daughter. But after being together for so long, we're still mother and daughter. Seeing you get married, my conscience is really reluctant. As she spoke, Zhou Damei actually shed tears. She used her sleeve to wipe the corners of her eyes. The first half of the sentence might have sounded fake, but the second half was true. Seeing Jianghu get married, she naturally couldn't bear to part with her. After all, with Jianghu around, Jianghu could help with a lot of work. But once Jianghu got married, she would be the only woman left in the family. She had to do everything herself. At her age, doing this kind of work must be exhausting. It wasn't as comfortable as when Jianghu was at home. Jianghu raised her head and looked at Zhou Damei. Her eyes were also red. Zhou Damei had treated her harshly all these years, but at least she didn't interfere in her marriage this time. Jianghu was very grateful for this. Otherwise, if he casually sold her to others and let her live in poverty, she would not have any hope for the rest of her life. For her, at least she had endured the previous hardships. As long as she was with Zhao Tianhu, she believed that she and Zhao Tianhu would work hard together. Their future days would be better. Mother, you also take good care of yourself. Take good care of my father and brother. Although I'm married, I will miss you. When I have time, I will come back to see you. Jianghu choked. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.